Hello and welcome to Witchy Shit and Mangalit with Carta and Rawiyah. And as always, I'm Jon Snow. I know not what we are talking about. So, Cartabus, what the hell are we talking about this week?
So that makes me Tyrion Lannister, right? Because all I know is how to know stuff and drink. Yeah. Yeah, got it. Um, so what we're talking about today is the internet.
Oh shit.
Uh-huh. Because there's
Oh.
there's a lot to talk about the internet, but there's some very specific topics I want to touch on. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so that's going to be our main topic today is the internet. But first, what have you been reading, watching, and consuming this week?
Let's see. I have to go to my Crunchyroll list cuz there's so much that I forget. I started watching Heaven Official's Blessing again. And also, I talked about it so much that Bertha got the first book from the library and is going to be reading it.
I love it when you, like, accidentally infect people around you to, like, do things.
Yes, I love. So I'm like, yes, this is great. We'll talk about it. So I was rewatching that. I'm rewatching it in English because it's now all the episodes are available in English. And let me tell you, there's an episode with the green wraith, Kui Rong, and some of the curses he uses when he's talking to people. Like he's like Wachode.
They really let these English VAs just do whatever the fuck they
Right?
want, don't they?
I'm like, go off, go off, go off. It's amazing. It's like it's so creative. He calls somebody a twat something. Like it just goes real far. It just goes real far. I'm loving it. I'm into it. I also started, I think I said this last week, but I'm still watching Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, which is such a cute horror slice of life. Like I didn't know you could have a horror slice of life thing, but it's totally good. I recommend it. It's also he's dealing with the trauma of the workplace that he came from, kind of like with my boss's Goofy.
Mhm,
um he's dealing with that and also recapturing his life during an apocalypse, which I feel is very relevant to us right now.
mhm.
A Sign of Affection, which has a new episode that just came out last night, so I'm gonna watch that one. It's really cute. I'm really enjoying it. It's such a sweet, tender romance with another white-haired, blue-eyed protagonist, which is my thing. Oh, and another thing I have to talk about this show, whoever designed this man's lips, oh, you just want to like suck them. Like his lips are so good. It's like I want to know what that mouth do. Like I want to know what it does. So that's also what I've been watching. The Apothecary Diaries is still going. Loving that. It's on episode 16 right now. Uh Mao Mao is amazing. Jinshin is not as annoying as he was in the beginning. I'm like, I actually have feelings for Jinshin now.
Oh.
Um yeah, he they really fleshed him out, made him multidimensional, and you could tell how much he's like just smitten with Mao Mao. And Mao Mao's like, get away from me. Why are you
I
standing
was
so
like, "No, thank you."
yeah. We're fine, thank you. We're
Thank you.
fine. Thank you. Um, I watched the first episode of Mashley,
Mashal, yeah. I
Mashley.
like, when I first saw that one, I was saying it Mashley as well, which is very, I don't know, fucking French of me, but then I was thinking, "Wait, it's magic and muscle." So mashal, like muscle,
Oh,
that's why it's pronounced that way.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started watching that one. I also started watching Buchigiri. which so I still know
Friend,
nothing.
you have started, like, everything under the sun this week. You're just like,
I
"Check,
have.
check, 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 check."
And The Witch and the Beast. I just only
Ooh, that
seen
one looks good. I really wanna see that one.
yeah.
The sacrificial witch and the beast king or something like that? Is that it?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that's it for that. What I've been reading, I read Big Ethel Energy. I read a few more chapters of Omniscient Reader, which I have to go back and read because I feel like they gave me so much information
It's really
in the
complicated. It's
yeah, I'm like
really complicated.
I'm gonna have to read this shit like 3 times in order to get what the fuck they're talking about. But it's okay. It seems very interesting, so I'm gonna keep at it. And what else did I read? Big Alpha Energy, um, Omniscient Reader, and I'm still reading Heaven's Officials Blessings, which I'm on not chapter, I'm 75% of the way done with the book, and I've been falling asleep to um, either Given or Yuri on Ice or Saskia Miyano. So that's and
Yeah.
also music has been great. I've been listening to this one song on repeat called "Numb Little Bug," which which is Ghetto song, I guess on
I was
these
like,
all
you're
these.
still in your depression era over here.
I am. I made a new playlist which I could link in the show notes. It's called From Depressed and Stressed to Blessed. So it starts
Nice. Ex
so it starts with all these depression songs and then it goes into Green Day Basket Case and then Pressure, Surface Pressure, but not from the Encanto, from this other group that sang it as a metal song. Like, I'm the strong one. Ah, da, da, da. Ah! It's real good. Um, so and then it goes into more positive songs and manifesting songs, and it ends with an active a song against being triggered or activated. So yeah, so I made a playlist for my mood, but yeah, I'm still on the outskirts of Depression Town. Um, especially since I dream about my mother and all of my exes, all of them in the same room, like threw a house party for me and then treated me awfully. And I'm like, I forgot that I could leave. I just
Oh,
completely
no.
regress. Yes. And then I woke
That's
myself up.
real bad.
It's super bad. I woke myself up out of the dream and was like cradling my inner child and teenager and young adult
Mhm.
and like, it's okay, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna be back asleep before I can complete my holding ritual, back in the dream, forgot again that I was dreaming, and then was like experiencing that several times during the night. So my brain is trying to stress me out. Um, Something's coming up. I have to figure it out. But I need to do a lot of ritual this week anyway, around
Yeah, maybe we should do
just
some dream work together
okay.
because, like, I can come visit and, like, kick your ex's ass in front of you if that's what you need.
That would
Um
be helpful because
Because
it's a mess.
I get it because every time I dream of my ex, it turns into, like, running away from a serial killer type of
Mm-hmm.
situation where, like, I'm
Well,
literally hiding from him the entire time. Like, I'm
yeah.
trying to be like, "You don't see me, you don't know I'm here, I'm escaping," every single time. It's super stressful, and I'm trying to get out every single time like a horror movie. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember the last time it happened, I think I actually pulled Ron into the dream
Oh
because
wow.
I was trying to hang out with Ron and my ex kept showing up and I'm like, "No, we can't do this. We're gonna go."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I get it, I get it. It gets stressful.
Gets real stressful. Gets real stressful. I'm like, why am I dreaming about you? Why am I dreaming about and I wake up arguing with them. Like I woke up and I was like, bitch, you know what? You know what? It was always all about I went down the whole list. in my head. And I like woke up, I'm like, I don't need this stress when I wake up. When I wake up, I need Studio Ghibli music and a cup of tea. That's what I need when I wake the fuck up. I
Mhm.
don't need to be waking the fuck up arguing with bitches about old shit. And so yeah. So yeah. That's it. What about you? What have you been consuming, watching, reading, listening to in the last week?
So, this week, we did I already tell you about a Returners Magicka special?
You might have mentioned it while we were co-working together, but like co-creating together.
I'll
But
talk
tell
about
me
the 3
again.
shows then, because we've watched 3 shows since the last time we talked. I was actively watching a Returners Magicka special when we talked last time, and that is I really like the webcomic for it, which is on both Tapas and Tappy Tunes. I kind of read it on both, because if something's on Tappy Tunes, but it becomes available on Tapas, I tend to switch over because I have more ink on Tapas, and I also the ink is cheaper on Tapas than it is for Tappy Tunes. But that's changing because they're increasing the prices on, like, all of the comics, and that's fine. I don't mind, like, some people are really, like, real butthurt about it, and I'm like, "Hey, the artists have to make money too, calm the fuck down."
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so I really like the comic, and I'm, like, 100 something like 120 chapters into this comic, so I'm, like, invested
Wow.
already, right?
Mhm.
And so the anime came out and I'm like, "Sweet, sweet, 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 sweet." I'm super excited because I want more webtoons to be made into anime. Like, Omniscient Reader's probably getting made into an anime, which I'm super excited about. But,
Yes, I saw it. That's why I started reading it. I'm like, I gotta
Oh,
be ahead of the
okay.
curve on this shit. It is being turned into an anime. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, hype, hype, hype about that because I really like that one. But so Return to Magic is special, I was hype about because I really like the comic, and the animation was mid. The animation was mid, and in the last
Mm.
episode of the season, they fucking montaged, like, 20 chapters just so they could,
Oh
like,
yeah, you did
tee
tell me
up
about.
the next section. I'm still livid about it. I'm so mad about it, and the thing is, like, unless you'd read it, you wouldn't know how much shit they actually skipped over, and so, like, Kurt's all confused as to why I'm mad. He's like, "Don't be mad, I liked it." I'm like, "Well, I'm glad you liked it. Fucking mid." He's like, "No, it was good. Shut up. Stop calling something I like mid." And I'm like, "You don't understand." It's like if you've been eating sirloin and then somebody plops a fucking McDonald's hamburger in front of you and you're like, "Oh, this isn't good." And somebody who's only had McDonald's hamburgers like, "Oh, it's delicious." Yeah, because you've never had prime rib. Come on. So
It's true though. It's true. You're right.
So I'm like, you don't have a point of reference as to why this is a bad rendition because you haven't read the comic, you've only seen the show. Which is why, like, on the one hand, it's kind of better to watch the show before reading the comic
Mhm.
because then you won't see all the flaws in the show as opposed
Mm.
to doing it the other way around, and then you end up like me and be mad.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then we watched season 3 of Shield Hero, which was okay. That one's turning into just your normal everyday harem isekai, which is meh. I'll keep watching it, but it's meh. And then we started Shangri-La Frontier, which is so good. It's so good. That's the birdhead character that I drew for Zach.
Mhm. Mhm.
And holy shit, the anime is amazing. The soundtrack, awesome. The animation, super good. The story, holy shit, I'm super invested. And I made the mistake of starting it before it's finished, and now I'm mad at myself because I don't do that. And I
Mhm.
did it because I didn't know. I thought that they were going to do 12 episodes and then come out with more later. But no, it's a 24 episode season and there were only 16 episodes out, and I'm mad at myself for not knowing that. And even Kurt noticed it and didn't say shit when I started it. Because I started it thinking, "Oh, there's only 12 episodes." And I'm like, "We only have 2 episodes left." And he's like, "Yeah, no, we don't. There's 16 in this one." And I was like, "You couldn't have said shit when I started? Like, why is there only 16 episodes in this? Usually there's more. Come on." So I'm upset and we're caught up and we have to wait a week. And I'm mad. And I'm mad about it. So I'm trying to determine which we're going to catch up on next because the newest season of Mushoku Tensei and the second part of the second season of Ancient Magus Bride are all out, and I want to watch those. I am waiting on Buddy Daddies for You, but that one's on my list too. I want to watch everything. I want to watch JJK
I
season
know.
2
It's like
again.
there's not enough time. And this I like and there's so many K dramas I want to watch too. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
am missing like
true.
I have to get back to my K dramas. There's one in particular with Woo Do-han that I want to watch
Oh, is it
called
the boxer one?
Bloodhounds. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, he's so cute and fine. He is Fine. Oh my god. He is the drool that comes out of my mouth when I just think about this man. And his character is like this fucking sweetheart of a cinnamon bun.
Mhm.
Like, just trying to do right by his mom, just trying to help out, just like having bad luck. Like, I love him so much. So yeah, go ahead on. I'm sorry. I'm like, I have to there's
No,
so
we're good,
much.
we're
There's
good.
so much media to consume.
There's so much and, like, just 0 amounts of time, because I'm sitting here going, "What can I watch and draw at the same time?" So tomorrow, we're probably gonna watch the second Lord of the Rings movie because I realized every time that we sit down and try to do Lord of the Rings movies, we only get through the first one. So we've watched Fellowship of the Ring, like, 9 times, and we haven't watched any of the other ones.
So my mom is old enough to have been around when um Wizard of Oz first came out. Was it Wizard of
Seriously?
Oz or was it Gone with the
That's like the
Wind?
1930s. Your
Okay,
mom's
it
been
was
around
Gone
since
with
the
the Wind.
1930s?
No, it was Gone with the Wind or something like that. One of these movies, it was Wizard of Oz, or maybe they were re-showing it in a theater. It wasn't the 1930s. When did Wizard of Oz come out? It
Wizard of
was
Oz
not
is
the 1930s. It is
Gone with the
not
Wind
that
is hella
old.
old too. I'm
Was
like, "How
it
ancient is
Wizard
your mother?
of
Did
Oz?
she have you when
Oh,
she was 70?
1939.
What?"
Okay, so they must have been showing it
Mhm.
again at the theater.
They've done that a couple times, yeah.
Yeah. So they were showing it again at the theater. I'm like, it can't be that old or was that old? But they had an intermission
Mhm.
moment, and my mom had a curfew. So she kept going to watch the first half of the movie and never made it to the second half. And
That's so funny.
it never like dawned on her that she should like do something about her curfew or something like that. She just kept seeing the first half of the movie over and over and over and over again. Yeah, I don't think it was Gone with the Wind because I don't think my mom would go see Gone with the Wind. I only saw Gone with the Wind because I was drunk. Like that was the only
You accidentally watched it.
yeah. Yeah, this white boy got me stupid drunk and was like, let's watch Gone with the Wind. And we were sitting there watching Gone with the Wind, and his other roommates came in who was also white that was like, you got her watching Gone with the Wind? Are you like fucking serious right now? I was like, "Yeah, shut up, we're watching it." I was so fucking drunk. I was so fucking drunk. After I sobered up, I'm like, "You wrong for that. You wrong for making me watch Gone with the Wind."
That's so
But yeah,
funny.
so see, I think it must have been Wizard of Oz. I don't think it was Gone with the Wind. I don't think it was. But yeah, you're right. I didn't realize it was the 1930s.
Yeah, I think they
I
did
thought it
a
was
re-release
later.
in the '60s or '70s, but
It would make sense if it
no.
was the 60s if they did a
Yeah.
re-release in the 60s.
I was like, if you I mean, they did The Wiz in the '70s, which is still a favorite of mine.
Man, the Wiz is real good. I love the Wiz, but it still gives me nightmares. That one sequence when they were down in the parking garage or whatever they were in.
Oh, yeah, with the bikers that came after him.
The
The
pillars started to move, the motherfucking pillars.
Yeah, mhm. Everything.
Oh my god. But that ending sequence where everybody is like dancing like half naked on the tables and all like
Mhm.
just beautiful and bodies glistening and
Yes.
just and rejoicing. That oh no, there's something in my hair. I think it's my own hair. My hair is
Honestly, I do that with my sweat sometimes. Like, if sweat gets in my ear, I'm like,
yeah. It's like what the fuck is that?
"Why is it there? I
Um
don't like it."
mm, mm. So those sounds like good shows you watch. What did you read?
I've been catching up with some of the webtoons that kind of I've been neglecting my my line comics for a while for, like, other kinds of comics, and I needed to catch up on a few, so I
Bill.
of course it's fucking BL. Of course it's BL. Come on. Who am I? Um, that's why, like, if I had to, like, list my favorite things, I would list, like, a few, like, full things and then just BL as a thing on its own. Not a
Mhm.
particular one, just BL. Anyway, so I got caught up on, a couple of the ones that I really like that have very unhinged facial features whenever they do things. And I know that
Mhm.
sounds funny, but, like, they're just I really like psychotic leads. Just the most
Psychotic leads and tiny tops.
Yes. Yes, both of those I'm very hot on. But I mean just, like, main characters that are completely unhinged. Um,
Mhm.
so there's this one that Zach gets onto, which is called The Greatest Estate Developer, and I'm not caught up on that one yet, but I got caught up on I believe it's called The Triple S Ranker Returns, and that one, my god, the main character is just the most unhinged. His facial features get just, like, disfigured every time he gets excited about something. Just, like, and, like, the way that the action gets drawn, you have no idea what's going on half the time. I don't know who the artist is, but, like, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend that one. It's very fun. And then the other one is, The Worn and Torn Newbie. And that one, while they don't do as much with the facial features, the main character is just psychotic, and I love him because, like, I don't I the plot is basically he, uh, it's one of those in a video game ones, except he got
Mhm.
reincarnated to, like, when the video game first started. Actually, both of these have the same plot. The Triple S Ranker Returns and Worn and Torn Newbie, they both have the same plot, which is something happened and their character got killed, in, like, a really untoward way because of a plot going on in the background, and they woke up in their own past, like 10 years younger, essentially, and can change
Mhm.
everything, and they know everything that's going to happen in the game. So they, like, have this, like, pre-knowledge of how to, like, pass certain things and, like, get leveled up really quickly, that kind of thing. But
Mm.
in Worn and Torn Newbie, that one's just friggin' hilarious because 1, he's unhinged, and 2, like, the way that he does his setup,
Mhm.
his avatar is, like, naked with a cape 90% of the time. So he's running around dick out and, like, everybody laughs at him all the time because of it. They're like, "Oh my god, what's wrong with him?" But, like, he's, like, seriously acing everything.
Mhm.
But, like, also using his knowledge to, like, secretly fuck over characters who, like and people who, like, harmed him in the past. So,
Mhm.
like, it's also just really funny. Um, I enjoy it a lot. But apparently some people ship him and this other, character, and, like, I don't see it. I don't see it, and you know me, like, I ship characters in action comics all the time, but
Yes.
not that one. That one I'm not seeing. Like Omniscient Reader, Dokja and Junghyun, yes. Those two 100%. The psycho priest and our fluff boy with the trench coat.
Mhm.
1,000% I do ship those two. But like I don't do it for every action comic. They actually have to have some kind of
Chemistry.
chemistry, you know?
Mhm.
And they just don't in Warren and Tornaby. I have no idea where these BL fans are coming from, but they're wrong for that. I'm like, y'all, they aren't all in love. Not all of them. A lot of them are, but not all of them. Come on, have some standards.
Have some standards. Have some standards. Oh my god. I think I outed myself on a go to Satu page.
Mhm.
Where Gojo Satu page where they were like, look at pick your daddy, and it had Gojo, Toji, Nanami, and Suguru. And they were all there, and they had the cloth pants and stuff on.
Mm, mm,
And
mhm,
people
mhm.
like, who's your daddy? And people were choosing their dad. I'm like, yes, but are we going to talk about how the pants come off of these? And and this one woman was like, nobody wants to see their tiny peen. And I'm like, speak for yourself.
Because they do. When they have cloth pants, they always get naked. Just full stop. If any character or figurine has cloth clothing, there is a naked option. That doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily mean that it's gonna show everything because it depends on the type of doll, but, uh, it'll tell you in the description if there's additional,
Yeah, they
um,
just posted pictures. They didn't
accessories.
post accessories.
Accessories.
That's what we're gonna call them. Accessories.
I
No,
mean, there's options.
when you're when your figurine can strap up,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
that
that's
is
a
an
lot.
accessory.
That's a lot. So yeah, so I did. I was like, these pants come off, by the way, and everybody laughed, and I was like, no, I'm serious. I want to know what Gojo's dick looks like.
Listen, you simps. I am here to educate you on the way these figurines
Yes.
function.
Mhm. And if you're
Yeah,
gonna
no,
simp 150.
there's this figure of Suguru where he's wearing jeans and they literally
Mhm.
have him grabbing himself through the jeans in the figurine. And I'm like, this is very detailed. This is extremely detailed. Like they are doing too much with these statues, I'm telling you.
They are for the thirst. They're like, whoa, how thirsty are they? Like they must be so parched. And it's like, yes, yes. This is like
I
fucking
mean,
Mad Max Fury Road. Open the gates.
literally they're selling out on resin figures at like $300-400 a pop 'cause we're buying the plastic dicks. That's how they're
Buy
doing this.
the plastic
Buying the
dicks.
tiny plastic dicks just to have them on your wall, and I'm like,
Mhm.
You thirsty bitches, keep it coming, because if you
Yes.
buy it, they will make more, and I want to see
Mhm.
more, so
And
keep
not only
buying.
will they make more, they will also make more shows that are like geared towards like non-cis het male gaze. Like
Yes.
I want it. I want it so bad. I want to I know I'm doing objectification.
They're 2D, it's not hurting anybody.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
They are drawings.
fine. So yeah, super geeked out about that.
I mean, granted, they do say that your heart cannot tell the difference if a love that you have for a character is real, or like if that character is real or not.
Look,
The love is. The love is very real.
the love is real. The love is real. right now, it's like if I could, like one day in the future, when I have space and when I have money, I might need to get a statuette of Hua Chang. Like that is just
Oh, no, friend, here, hang on. They have, like, full-on articulated dolls with cloth clothing that are extremely detailed, like, absolute bonkers outfits for them within that space, and they are gorgeous. Like, even before I
mm,
was even into the show, I was, like, looking at these dolls like, "Holy shit. This doll is beautiful." Whew, and it's, like, 12 inches tall and, like, $500.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I need it in my life. I need it in my life. I need it as part of a summoning spell for
For a proper partner who will worship me, but only at the appropriate amount. Thank you.
Mhm. 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 And I'm like, "Oh, Watchung is also very morally gray." Like
Very, very. Oh my god, that reminds me.
Hmm.
So I was talking to Ron last night about stuff like usual.
Mhm.
And he mentioned like how shocked he was by the dark romance fans and how intense they get about these men who are basically stalker murderers. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, no, like I personally don't get it because my current husbando is like the greenest of flags, but I'm like, so there's this one friend that I watch horror movies with on the regular, and
Mhm.
I remember this one movie we were watching, and I was telling him about it, and I was like, so the movie is, this lady is hired as a nanny for this woman's son, but her son is a doll.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like a marionette doll, right?
Mhm.
And then, like, so throughout the movie, like, stuff keeps happening. Like, she's hearing stuff, the doll keeps moving on its own, and you're like,
Mhm.
this is a fucking haunted doll. That's a haunted ass doll. What the fuck is happening? No, turns out there's a dude who lives in the walls, and that's the
Mhm.
actual son. And he comes out, and my friend's like, but why is he hot? And I'm like, girl, girl. And when I told Ron this, he was like, what? What is wrong with your friend? And I'm like, I don't know. People just be like this. What are you
People
gonna
do be
do?
like that. People do be like that. People do be like that.
I'm
My
like,
thing
that's
is when it's over real serial killers. Like there was that whole thing that happened with Netflix series about was
Dahmer.
it
Yes.
Dahmer? Yeah. And people were
Well,
like, "Ooh, he could eat me." And I'm like, "For real, bitch?" Eh,
well, because they got fucking Zac Efron to play him, didn't they?
I
Or
did got
which
somebody to play him, but I was still like, that is a line I will not I will not cross.
no, wait.
Uh,
They had Zac Efron playing that other guy who was getting girls in the back of vans and murdering them. The guy playing Dahmer was the guy that acts in, a lot of the American Horror Story shows. I can't remember his name right now, but he's also
mhm.
very handsome, so no wonder. Because people are psychotic.
People are psychotic. People
They're
are
like
psychotic.
like, if the figure is hot, say safety goes out the window and just no
Mhm.
shits are given at all.
Mhm. Be like,
I
"Ooh,
let
he's
him kill me
dangerous."
anytime. No.
No.
But
Don't
you were
say
talking
that.
about you were talking about the Prey drive recently, weren't you?
I was.
Maybe some people's
But that
Prey
only
drive is just
applies to certain situations like
oh,
Sukuna. Oh,
oh, really? So the demon man is fine.
look, he's just the devil. He has a job. He's like contributes to society. What's that old meme? He's just a
Oh my
little devil.
god. He's just kind of Satan, it's fine.
He's just the king of all ghosts. Like that's it. Like Yeah, no, Sakuna and Hwa Chong. Oh, Sakuna Hwa Chong sandwich.
I would argue that Hua Chung is, light years better than Sukuna just
He
because
is. He
he is a
is.
devoted bitch. He is so devoted.
He's
He is
so devoted.
obsessively devoted, like 800 years waiting for his man devoted.
Yeah.
And we
But
love
he
that. We
also
love that for him.
wasn't pressing him. He wasn't pressing him. Like he was like he's like, I came, I popped up, I stayed some time with you, and now I'm gonna go away for a little bit. Give you your space, let you come to me. Like that, like he was like, I waited for you 800 years, but no pressure, and meant it.
He
And
was
meant
doing
no
a
pressure.
Sasaki, but long game meant real long game.
Long, long game.
It's like we thought the 8 months that Sasaki waited was a long time. That not that's not 800 years though, is it?
No, it's not 800 years.
Then
It's
again,
not
when you're a
800 years.
teenager, 8 months does feel like 800 years.
Forever. Forever. It is forever. Ugh, I can't wait till next book comes out.
Oh, same, same, same,
Ugh,
same,
they're
same,
so
same.
adorable. They're so adorable. Ugh,
I'm gonna keep my eye to the grind to make sure that I can snatch it immediately and tell you about
mhm.
it so you can get it too.
I'm yes, tell me about it when you get it. Like, cause I'm gonna have to. Oh, one thing I did find out today, I only watched 30 minutes of it, but Twittering Birds Never Fly has a movie.
It also has a full show as well.
It does?
Yeah, it has both. The movie is I think the movie is a side story between 2 of the side characters, and the main show is with the main guys that you know from the comic.
Mm, cool. I need to figure out where to find it. Where is the movie on? The
It's on
show.
Amazon.
Oh, I can't do it then.
I know.
Oh, speaking of which, one of my friends pulled off of Amazon, Wheel of Time.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that one once we are caught up with Tokyo Revengers, because that one's next on the list. So,
Okay.
we'll do that, and then I don't know what we're gonna do after that because we have 2 next on the list, and one is, the friggin' sad one from Netflix, Violet Evergarden, and
Yes. It is so good, but it's so good. The art is good, the storytelling is good.
I believe
Like
you because the animation's amazing on it, but, like, literally every episode I'm crying because I am a sad bitch and it makes me cry.
the ending is like it's satisfying. You will at least get a satisfying ending.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then after that, we're watching, Fushigi. No, actually, I'm gonna insert one of the fun, stupid ones in there. We're gonna do, like, Hypnosis Mic or something in between just to, like,
Okay.
lighten
Cool. Give
things up a
ourselves a
little
break.
bit. Yes. Like Buddy
Cause
Daddies or Hypnosis Mic, something that's fun and light that we can just
yeah.
knock out in 2
Cause
2
we're
2
going
times,
from Utena
which is
to Tokyo
trauma,
Revengers.
which is
Trauma.
trauma.
We finished
We
watching it this week.
honestly, though, we kinda thrive on the trauma in these
We do.
shows. But yeah, do you wanna talk about Utena for a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, we need to find where to watch the movie because
Yeah,
we do
yeah,
need
we
to
definitely
watch
do.
that.
It's whew, that like, the show itself is a lot. It's a lot.
Mhm. I found the end, like when ran through Utana, when Anthony ran through Utana with that
Mhm,
sword, I knew it was coming, but I didn't realize how much it was going to impact me when I actually saw it.
mhm.
And I feel like instead of, I feel like, I feel like Utana was like, I'm still your prince. Like, I'm going to take your place. I feel like she took her place. And Now Auntie's like, now it's my job to find you. Like Auntie like got some Auntie broke out of her own shell. She broke out of her cage. She broke her
Yeah,
world open.
she did. So in
Akio it can go to hell and
Akio
burn
is the fucking
and
worst. He's the worst. He was like, "Oh, well, I guess it didn't work again." Bitch.
yeah.
So the movie, it looks like it's on Pluto.
Okay.
Um, so we can watch it for free with commercials,
All right. Awesome.
which is fine. I accept that. It's also on Funimation, so I'm wondering if that means it will be available on Crunchyroll at some point.
Mhm.
But like literally it's listed as just Pluto and Funimation. So like it is nowhere else. It's very difficult to find. Which is fine.
The end of Utsuna was very those last 4 episodes were like constant slaps across the face.
It was rough. It was
There
real
was
rough.
there was no sugarcoating anything. There was no like this may or may not be happening. You know, like this is actually fucking happening to Auntie. Auntie's like, I'd rather kill myself than for any of this to continue further. Like
Yeah.
Auntie was trying to stop Lieutenant from moving forward for a
Mhm.
while, like for some of those episodes. And so was fucking is his name Toga?
Yeah, Kiryu Toga.
Toga. Yeah, he was trying to stop her too, even though he's gross and cringy himself.
Yeah,
But
he's a
he
whole
was trying to
problem.
stop her too.
He was trying to stop her for the wrong reasons though, which is why he couldn't. He was trying to stop her so that she could be his princess instead, because he knew Akio was trying to make her his princess. And he was
I
like,
kind
"No,
of
you're gonna be my princess."
I don't think he was trying to make her a princess though.
I
Akio was
feel
trying
like
to
he
make her a
was.
princess. I feel like Toga was just like, I see you. I see you. I don't think Toga wanted to change her. I think he was intrigued by her because she was who she was.
Yes, but he also said, "I like the way Akio's been changing her. She's being more of a princess, and I don't want her to get used by
Oh, I didn't
Akio as
remember
a
that.
princess. Instead, I will have her as a princess, and I will treat her as such, like she's supposed to be treated." But she was still an object for him to
Oh.
obtain, which is why I think she rejected it so hard still because
I think she rejected it because she's like, no, who the fuck is you? Like, you've been weird to me ever since Jump. And you fucked with my friend. Like, you treated my friend like she wasn't nothing. Like, she was like definitely like she was an object. It was like, no,
but
there's no
it
chance in
wasn't
hell.
Toga who did that. That was,
Oh, San,
fucking,
no, what's his name with an S?
Saionji. Saionji.
Soundji.
Yeah, Saionji, like, ruined her friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad her friend, like, got back to how it was, but, like, it was so interesting at the end that
Oh
everyone
no,
started for
by friend I mean auntie.
Oh! Oh, huh?
Yeah, how he was one of the people who was just
I mean, that's true. He did treat Anchi as an object, but I guess for me, I see Anchi as more than a friend for Utena, so
yeah.
I didn't register that. I was thinking of, her other little friend with the top knot who
The
got used
bobsetter
by
hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, you're right. They're friends in the way that like women who live together for the rest of their lives. Uh
And the historians are like, "And they were roommates."
they were really good friends.
Yeah, yeah,
They were best friends.
that's what kind of friends, they are.
Mhm.
But I totally see that, and it's just, like, the way that the show does the layering of so of information, and, like, I also realized, like, Seeing it as a teenager versus seeing it as an adult are 2 completely different things. I actually really
Mhm.
like rewatching things that I saw as a teenager, as an adult, because I pick up different information, having
Mhm.
different context being an adult. So, um, like, even rewatching Sailor Moon, I remember as a kid, I thought that Sailor Moon was kind of annoying and cringy and stuff, but watching it as an adult, I'm like, "Oh, she's just a kid doing kid
Yeah.
stuff. She's adorable and
She's
needs
a
to be
kid just wanting to
protected."
be a kid,
Yeah.
but she can't be a kid because she has to go save the fucking world.
Yep. So,
All
like,
she wants to do
rewatching.
is have a boyfriend and eat food.
Mhm. It's gonna be interesting watching Fushigi Yugi with you because that's something that I saw when I was Miyaka, the main character's age, and I thought Miyaka was the most annoying thing on the face of the planet, but, like, watching it as an adult, I'm like, "She is a child who needs protection," and you having not seen it as a kid, but only seeing it as an adult, I feel like your perspective is gonna be even more interesting because you're not gonna have that added context in the background of being like, "Here's what I thought of it as a kid." You're just gonna have the, "Here's what I think of this now as an adult," and there's a lot of fuck shit happening to this
Mhm.
child. Because
I'm
a lot of
excited
fuck
to
shit
watch it.
happens to the child.
I'm excited to watch it. I also want to watch My Hero Academia just so I can know what everybody fuck is everybody's talking about.
Okay, we can add that to the list because actually really like My Hero a lot. But it's I feel like it's something we should watch together, unless you wanna watch it by yourself and just tell me about it, because that's also fine, but, like, I think we don't watch a lot of shonen together, so that'll be fun if we decide to watch it.
Wait, I feel like all we've watched is shonen.
What is shonen
Well,
that we've
no.
watched?
Jujutsu Kaisen, Tokyo
That is
Revengers.
seinen. Okay, Tokyo Revengers is, like, kind of shonen, but I feel like it's I don't know. I feel like that one's seinen too. I don't feel like that audience is little boys,
So
is basically
seinen
is what I'm
is for
saying.
adult men. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yes,
Okay.
we have watched shows that are, like, geared towards men, but I think they've been more adult men than actual, like, younger audiences. Because My Hero is very specifically for younger audiences. Yes, it gets dark in places, but, like, the characters are younger, but, like, they read as younger.
Unlike
Yes,
Tokyo Avengers.
where the characters are young, but they read as grown ass men for no reason,
Mhm.
and they are violent and yeah, no, I feel like because of the content and because, like, they curse a lot and they, like, do I don't know. Tokyo Revengers kinda toes that line between shonen and seinen because it's directed very shonen because, like, the action sequences are super hyped, but, like, the depth of the storyline is very seinen.
Mhm.
And a lot of people say that JJK is shonen, but I still firmly believe that one's seinen. I think that one was made for a late teen audience,
Mhm.
unlike, like, Naruto. Naruto gets deep sometimes, but that one's clearly a shonen.
Mhm.
Same with One Piece, but I don't know enough about One Piece to fully say anything, but I know it's a shonen for sure, and Bleach. One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto were the original big 3 that people talk about, and some others are like, "Well, yeah, what about Dragon Ball?" Yeah,
Yeah, I was just
Dragon
about
Ball
to
was
say,
back
what
in the
about
day. No, the big 3 for us is Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and Gundam, because those are
Yeah.
for our generation, if you started an anime, it was one of those 3.
Mhm.
It was one of those 3 led you down the path to weebdom, but anybody that started watching past the year 2000, it is gonna be Naruto, Bleach, and, One Piece because all of those started very, very early in the 2000s.
Mhm. That makes
And yeah,
sense.
I know One Piece is still going. That bitch is old, okay?
So my thing that I find hilarious is that they're like, "Oh, some studio or someone it might be Netflix is going to do a reboot of One Piece," and I'm like, "How you reboot something that's still going?"
Right. But they did
Uh,
the live action, so I can imagine
yeah,
them continuing the live action because that's kind of a reboot.
they're doing an anime.
Why?
They said everybody's like down for it. A lot of people are down for it and saying that they hope they fix the pacing
Mm.
of it
I
if
can
they
see
do
that
it.
because a lot of people complain about the fact that half the episodes are a recap.
Mhm.
Like, you've got, like, a 10-minute recap at the beginning of every episode to go over all the shit that's happened before, and they're like,
Mhm.
We don't need that per se.
Just give
We
us the
don't
content.
need that."
Give us the content.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm looking at my computer where I have stickers of Demon Slayer, and I'm
Mhm.
just thinking about they're gonna come out again. My babies, we're gonna see our babies again, our little children
We are.
this year.
I
I'm
love them
like,
so
oh,
much. Yeah, so
Zenitsu.
they're gonna do the same thing they did with Mugen Train and come out with a movie of the Hashira arc before the season actually comes out.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I wanna see that. I think I wanna wait until the actual season's out, just like with Mugen Train, because with Mugen Train, the season had a lot more stuff in it than the movie did.
Oh, they're doing the Hashira arc as a movie, not the Sword Village.
Yeah. Oh, no, what they're doing is they're doing the Sword Village as a movie and the Hashira arc as a movie, and then they're gonna come out with the Hashira arc as a season, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to, like, tie them together to, I guess, refresh you on what happened before.
Mhm.
Last time on Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
you
probably
didn't
gonna
for
want to watch them both.
like, you didn't forget the traumatic, climax of this last one where you all thought Nezuko would die, but she didn't.
Oh my gosh. Someone did a little side by side of they're like Tanjiro after a fight and he's all crying with people and they're hugging each other and then they show Itadori after a fight and he's
Just
just
alone.
fucking gnarled and alone. Yeah.
Not even sobbing, his eyes are dried up because of how much he cried previously.
Mhm. Mhm.
Crusty.
Poor baby. The
I
poor
know.
baby.
He just needs a hug.
Mhm.
Huh.
And it goes directly into the Cullen game, right? Like he doesn't get a break, does
Oh,
he?
I mean, he does get a brief break, but not in the way you want him to.
That sounds like no break.
You'll see what I mean
That
when you get
that
to it in
sounds
the comic.
that sounds like he gotta be standing trial, that he almost dies, that he has to fight Utah or something like that. That's what that sounds like. That doesn't sound like he gets any fucking where's his peace? I just want him to have some peace. I want him to have a nap and a sandwich and like a month of not having to fuck with nobody. Like this is what I want his life to be. You telling me he don't get that? He don't get that?
His brother takes care of him a little bit. Like, he gives him a little training montage so he learns some powers.
They don't like Choso either.
What?
You said his brother,
Yeah,
Choso, right?
yeah.
So like, how you gonna train with Choso when the sorcerer people probably don't even like Choso?
Well, I mean, the sorcerer people want all of them dead, so they have to hide together in a bunker. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
I want him to
Yuki
have
helps out
rest.
a little bit.
Okay.
You were so
For
funny.
those who are just listening to this, my face is very petty and pouty and petulant.
You
Um,
just need to read the comic, and then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, and then you'll be mad at
okay.
me, and it'll be fine.
And then I'll be mad. Why am I gonna be mad at you? Why the fuck
Because
am I gonna be
you'll
mad at you?
understand what I mean by he gets a break. I'm not gonna say anything, but, trust me, it's gonna be very funny. I mean, sad. I mean, it's gonna be amusing and interesting, and you're going to enjoy it.
Sounds like it's gonna be fucked up. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like fuckery.
Look,
It
it's
sounds
gay
like
gay. What
fuckery.
do you think is gonna happen?
It's fuckery. I think it's gonna be straight up and down, left, right, diagonal, horizontally, perpendicular fuckery.
Look, it is French vanilla flavor. Fuck shit from the bowels of hell, and you're going to enjoy every second of it.
I believe you. Okay, I'll just fucking read it. I'll just fucking read it. So much to read. So
I know.
much to read.
I know. I gotta get caught up on Demon Slayer too. But like every time I read Demon Slayer, I keep taking pictures of stuff I want to draw. I don't have time to do fan art right now, and I want to.
Mhm.
But like I've got two collabs I'm doing. One of them I've got both of those JJK pieces I'm doing for, even though I need to figure out which one I'm actually going to use for the collab. I'm leaning toward the UG Megami piece with the bunnies because I really like the bunnies.
Mhm.
But I definitely need to finish that Nanami UG piece because those pancakes look delicious, and they're the only part of the piece I actually like still. It's fine. I'm
Wow.
I'm not too hard on myself at all.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
very
not even a
normal.
little. Yeah. Yeah. So gentle, so gentle.
So so gentle. Like Gay Gay is with his characters. Anyway, um uh yeah, but so what I wanted to talk about today was the internet because one of the other things that we were talking about last night was the fact that these children do not protect themselves on the internet anymore. Like they didn't learn
No.
the age, sex, location that you do not give away those pieces of information randomly to nobody because they're putting things on there like support a 14-year-old artist. I'm super young and I'm from here. And it's like, no, 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 sweetie, you're exposing yourself on the internet to
But their
people.
parents did. So
Their
it's like,
parents should teach them better.
yeah. Yeah, like our generation, we grew up with it. I also think that grow we grew up in a pre 9/11 world
We did.
where
Yeah.
privacy was paramount.
Mhm.
And we now live in a post 9/11 world where basically I feel like people are like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you should be able to have all your information out here in these streets if you're not doing anything like wrong or illegal, like da 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 da
Yeah, but
da,
that's how
you
you
should
get
be
stalkers.
fine. And that is how you get stalkers.
And, like, I keep hearing people complaining about how they have stalkers, and I'm like, "Well, sweetie, you put all your they know how to
All
find
you
you.
everything.
They your business is out there. It is available for other people." And I get, like, it's very easy to connect with others because of how accessible the internet is right now, but you gotta be careful. And, like, while I appreciate that iRead is safe to people, I also know, like, you gotta I don't know, I feel very protective of these kids at this point because 'cause I'm like, they are not protecting themselves in the ways that they
No.
should on the internet. They just really aren't. And it just kind of also reminds me of the days of the Wild West of, like, how I didn't get kidnapped being in those AOL chat rooms in the very early days. Just
Oof.
we did not know better until we knew better, and I feel like
It's
I feel like there's just a resurgence of that where I'm, like, watching this in real time where I'm like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." I know because I did that a bunch.
mhm. It's like, have you not seen How to Catch a Predator or To Catch a Predator? Like, let me know that you have not watched it or even heard of it.
Or unsolved mysteries.
Ooh, Unsolved Mysteries will fuck my shit up. Ooh, to this
Seriously.
day. I hear the music for it and it's like, nope, I'm noping out. I'm noping out of any situation where I where I hear that music. It is fucked up. Oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot of information that's out on the internet. There's a lot of and it's accessible if you know how to get to it and if you have
Mhm.
money to pay for it cuz I was doxxed during that whole PantheaCon nonsense.
Yeah.
But But I was like, they doxed me. That's like, I could say they doxed me because they doxed me. So I could just be like, these people are assholes. They doxed me. But was I scared? No, because I was living in three different places and all of them had gates. And then one of them
Right.
had a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Um, big, big bear of a Rottweiler. Ferdinand. So I was fine. My information was out there because I had applied for a job. I
Yeah.
had like applied for a loan. I had applied for this. I had applied for that. So
Like,
it was out there and
basically
findable.
and scammers are finding this shit all the time. Like, I got scammed the other
Mhm.
day, and they had my email, my phone number, my address, and I realized those things are just readily accessible because you,
Mhm.
like, look up 3 things and all my shit's there. And, like, on the one hand, that's not PII, so that's good, but on the other hand, gaining information is ridiculously easy these days. So, like, back in the day when you had to, like, look up in the phone book to figure out where people were, they could
Mhm.
have changed their information and the phone book wouldn't know for, like, 3 months, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, it wouldn't change until the next year when a new phone book came out, and
Yeah.
that's just the way shit worked, but, like, now, you can get new information real time, you just gotta pay one of those scraper sites, because there's so many scraper sites.
There are.
There's so many, and they just collect any piece of information that's on the internet for you.
Mhm.
So, like, I don't like, there are certain people that I will trust with information, and that is, people I'm commissioning from or people that, like, I actually interact with. If someone that I know and interact with asks me my age, I will tell them. But if
Mhm.
somebody that just, like, randomly followed me and starts asking me my age and trying to get my gender front, that I really fucking hate that. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kinda none of your fucking business, is it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Leave me
Yeah.
alone. Thank you.
So,
Mm.
bye.
Bye. Like, the more I don't know you, the cuntier I get. That's just how that works. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
And
yeah,
people will
like,
find you by pitch stuff in your fucking picture's background though.
uh-huh. Yeah, no, they these are, like, super sleuths out in this
Mhm.
world. Like, people, like, they make jokes about, like, your girls being able to, like, get you all of the information about the new guy you're trying to see, but that's not a lie. They
It's
can and
real.
will.
It's real.
Every friend group has at least one person who can Carmen Sandiego whoever it is that you're talking to and be
Look,
like, "That bitch is married 3 times."
we did that for the coven though. When we had a coven, like someone would
Mhm,
apply, they sent in information, and then we did a search because we had to vet people. But it's different for vetting someone entering into a safe space, or what we're trying to make as safe a space as possible,
and trying to find
than
victims.
trying to find victims.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just signed up for a space called the Garden, and it's supposed to be for black and brown COVID conscious folk. And I had to submit my social media, but they asked for it. They asked for my social media. They asked for my
Mhm.
Instagram or Facebook to verify who I was, and stuff like that. So that felt different when they asked for it to look for it. But yeah, I've gone out on dates with people and I have totally been like, let me see who they are. Let me look at their LinkedIn. let me see what they're let me see what
Yeah.
they're up to. Let me find their social media. And it's been hard for me for some people because there's not always information out there. They're like, you can find their address and shit like that, but you can't find out who they are and what they do. And then there's me. You could Google all three of my names and a bunch of shit will pop up under
Mhm.
it. So then people will know about more about who I am. Often I'll go into dates with people knowing more about me than I know about them, and that feels like a disadvantage.
It kind of is because, like, a lot of people just don't have a huge footprint online, so it makes it very difficult to be like, "Oh, okay, I know who you are and what you're about." But, like, at the same time, it's also being a public figure versus being private. Like, I've had people try to follow my private Instagram, and I'm cutting them off now. Like, I'm like, "I have 200 followers on my private Instagram, that's fine." I'm following 7,000 people. So if people
Mm,
like, request to follow me and I don't know them in person, I tell them, "I don't know you in person, but here's my art account if you wanna be mutuals, that's fine." Because it's typically artists that find me and like my profile picture because it's my drawing of Nanami, and, um, so I'm like, "I'm glad that you like my picture, but I'm not gonna allow you to get into my space because this is my personal
mhm,
space." So I've kept a few of my artist mutuals in that personal space because, I had the account linked on my artist account, but, like, the closer I got to 1,000 followers, the less likely I was like, I don't want people in my business. So
mhm,
I'm gonna divest these 2 accounts from each other so that it's not gonna be like that anymore. So I can't cross post anymore, but I did that consciously so that I wouldn't have people just randomly trying to find me.
mhm, mhm,
You know, if I do a face reveal on my art account, that's my choice. I don't want them to just go try to find my now locked down personal account as well. And I removed a bunch of people that were following me previously because
yeah,
I'm like, "I don't know you. If I don't know you or haven't had any personal interactions with you, you're booted." Because I don't know, like, it just makes me feel wary. I'm very wary about people on the internet now, and it's
mhm,
because, of, I guess, 1, our upbringing of stranger danger, and 2, like, I don't know, I wanna be known for my art, not for my personal bullshit, if that makes sense.
mhm, mhm. And
But yeah, I think
I'm in a different position because I because my art is so tied into
your justice work.
um my justice work, my justice and liberation work, and my justice and liberation work is based on my personal experiences
Mhm.
and interactions. So all my shit is just out there. Literally, like my shit is out there. Like my
Yeah, like,
body
you
itself
yourself as a public figure.
is
So,
is
like,
out
all of
there.
you is a public figure. For me, I'm very specifically delimiting between my personal self and my art self so that my art self has a different persona. Yours, everything is directly tied together. You don't have a separate account for your own personal stuff to post, like, if you wanted to do that. Because, like you said,
And
everything's tied.
mostly
But I feel like at the same time, that kind of limits you to what you can post because you want to keep a certain persona in your public account. Because, like, you don't post
mm,
about this podcast on that account, do you?
I don't post about the podcast because I'm shy about it.
Because it's you personally, that's what I mean, it's not your outward persona, it's very vulnerable and open
It's
and,
very
because it's just
vulnerable.
us.
And I'm very vulnerable and I'm not curated. I'm just saying shit off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Um and so that feels very, very vulnerable. And I'm used to having, even when I text people, I'm very intentional with my I try to be very intentional with my words, sometimes too intentional.
Mm.
So intentional that I'm like double thinking and triple thinking and doing a bunch of wild ass hula hoops in my brain.
I feel
But
like
like
you don't
with
do that with me, though.
I don't. I don't
Because I just get
at
messages
all.
like, "Oh my god, this character's wild," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna see what you're talking about."
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that at all with you. Like there's no thought process there's no filtering that happens between like my brain and my mouth when I'm in a room with you. And it's very, very, very few people who I'm able to like just not think about what I'm saying or how I'm saying it.
Mhm.
Like I still try to be considerate with my speech, but I'm not as how do I say this?
You're not as worried about how you're being perceived
I'm not as
because
worried as about the impact of how
mm,
I'm being perceived. So it's an impact thing because once, like, one of the reasons I stopped doing burlesque at certain places is because they weren't right. Like the people who were running the show, like
mhm,
some of the people in the show, there were like less than they weren't good people. They were hurting other people and stuff like that. But I knew if I went on to do the show, someone would say, "Oh, Magnolia did the show, so that means that I should be able to do the show because they only travel in safe spaces." So it was the impact of my face
mhm,
on a flyer. It's the impact of what I say for people who are there's this fine line between the impact of what I say to other people and how I say it and me being authentic. There's a blend of
mhm,
those two things. So what happens on my page right now is me in authenticity, but also me being very intentional about that authenticity because of the impact it's had on people in the past. So it would be an interesting experiment for me
mhm,
to not be as concerned about the impact, not hold myself responsible for the impact my words have on other people because I have so much in the past.
that's that would be an interesting experiment because I do think that you have a lot of influence on others just by your presence, but at the same time, understanding your impact versus fully taking responsibility for your impact are two different things because you have garnered this following by being authentic and by being trustworthy. And if you are still being your authentic self in front of others, you are still being genuine and trustworthy.
Mm,
So it's not so much like you're going to harm people by saying things in a different way. As long as you're being true to yourself and if you make mistakes, own up to them and like change the narrative like we did with the when Danny pointed out about the pink
pink
washing.
washing.
Yeah, so we addressed it and talked about it later because it was important to do so. You're always like that. Like, you have never done something that has unintentionally had consequences without being like, "Oh, hey, that had consequences, let's talk about it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a
Or that
lot
was
of
fucked up and this is what I learned from it and
exactly.
I'm sorry.
And the thing is, people respond to that because that's genuine and it's honest. It's not like a bunch of these celebrities that'll, like, do whatever the fuck they want for money and then realize that it's fucked up and, like, tearfully apologize for it later when you know that they're just gonna do some more fuck shit later for money.
Mhm.
You aren't like that, and everybody knows you're not
Mm.
like that, which is why you're so trustworthy. So I think you need to trust your audience more
Ooh. Oh,
because
okay.
if you trust your audience to see your authentic self and love your authentic self the way that they love your curated self, if you like, even if you lose a few people, you're going to gain a lot more because they're going to be able to see the true you.
Mm. Yeah, I lost like 300 plus followers over my COVID titty hole rant. Um,
Yeah, but those bitches can suck it.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, I am immunocompromised and disabled, and that's also the community that I roll with. So like, and I want to be a hoe, and I can't, and I'm mad about it. Like everybody gets to be a hoe. Like everybody gets to exercise their hoe rights, and I feel limited.
So I realized the other day that I am also immunocompromised. It had not
Yeah,
crossed
you
my
are.
mind.
This was something you.
I did not know that. I thought I was just a
Yes,
weak ass bitch,
you
and
was hella immunocompromised, babe.
yeah, Ryland's like, "Yeah, you get sick all the time because you're immunocompromised," and I'm like, he was like, yeah, that's what that means," and I was like, "Oh, oh."
A whole new world.
I'm like, "So that's why I have to wear a mask when I have to be around a lot of people." He's like, "Yeah, or don't be
Yep.
around a lot of people. Those are your 2 options," and I'm like, "Okay, that's a good idea."
I'm so glad Rylan got you together because I thought you knew this. I thought
No.
you knew you were.
So, what part of I am a himbo do you not understand? I keep telling you this. Like, I am very smart about very specific things. Anything outside of those things, I am very stupid.
Well, I'm glad you know now because that means you can operate with that knowledge
Mhm.
and take care of yourself in the ways in which you take care of yourself.
Yep. So, when I'm getting my tattoo on Thursday, I'm gonna be wearing a mask the whole time because last time I got a tattoo, I ended up with strep throat because I'm immunocompromised.
Mhm.
And I can't fend off any bacteria or anything else that comes at my way because
Mhm.
my immune system is tired because
Very
of this
sleepy.
fucking long COVID. Just so
Mhm.
tired. So tired. I almost said Toji because I just saw the my tattoo artist did a Toji, and I'm like, if my Nanami brought her more JJK tattoos, that warms my heart
Mhm.
because that Toji piece is next
Is that what
level.
you sent me? Because I haven't been able to
Yes.
look at. Okay, I'm
Go
gonna
look
look
at
at
it
it
right
right
now.
now. I'm gonna go look at it right
It's
now.
so good. I
I
was
love
like,
Toji.
I cannot wait to see what she does with Spike for me. It is gonna be amazing.
My brain stopped. I'm like, where am I looking? Okay, I am on Instagram. I am looking at your. Whoa. That is badass.
Right? She actually took 2 pictures of the process this time, and I'm like, "You better do that this time with mine." 'Cause she didn't take any process pics till the end and was really sad about it afterwards.
This
So
is so cool.
I'm like, "Girl, I'm glad you're learning on how to do process pics to get your social media up to date because this is amazing. I love it so much."
That is so cool. Oh, so good.
Yeah, so for anyone who is curious, my tattoo artist is Art of Canada on Instagram, and if you wanna see my Nanami tattoo, it's there as well, if I haven't shown you in person because our audience is like 3 of my friends. So, like, assuming I haven't already shown you, go to at Art of Canada on Instagram, and you'll see her stuff.
Mhm.
But back to the internet, it reminded me also of, like, just the Wild West of how, like, memes back in the day, and I just realized that, like, kids now think Vine is old, and I'm just like, "I'm gonna
Oh.
crumble into dust and die, child," because 'cause I remember Badger, Badger, Mushroom, Mushroom from back in the day.
Oh my god.
And fucking Homestar Runner and Coach Z.
Yes.
Like, literally, my brain still goes, "Georb," every time we're talking about jobs because of Coach Z, and I'm like, I'm old.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's stuff like that that reminds me that I'm 8 years from 50. Like
Right? I am 9 years from 50, and God, how did why did you have to remind me of that?
Yeah, no, it's like
Why?
it's a
I'm mad about it.
situation.
It's a problem.
It's a fucking situation. It's a situation. But I will say we look damn good. Like we don't
So I would say that, but then, like, every time I look up close in the mirror and I see my skin's actual texture, I'm like, "Holy shit, I need to moisturize more." Like, I need to
you
find
need
some
to
of this
get on
glass
Ron's
skin stuff.
skincare routine.
I need a skincare routine. Right now, I am slapdash as shit, and it is not working for me. I need something. I need anything.
Mhm.
I need a resurfacing thing with those needles or whatever they're doing. No, my skin's sensitive. It would not do that well. It will not be happy. I will end up with a puffy face for, like, 4 weeks if I do
The
that.
ink key list
Okay.
has a whole questionnaire on what you can do to take care of your skin and what skin type you have and all this other stuff that helps you figure it out, and then we'll generate a skincare routine for you. And it is lovely. I have used it, and when I used it, my skin is just glowy, dewy, like has that glass look to it. My problem is that I'm lazy.
Oh, hard same. Like, we have a sink situation where, like, the sink in the bathroom does not work because it doesn't drain right, and
Mhm.
Kurt keeps saying he's going to fix it, and it hasn't been fixed, so I don't have, like, a sink in the bathroom to wash my face at, so I have to go to the kitchen to wash my face, and I don't
Oh,
wanna do that, so I end up just not washing my face a lot.
let me tell you. I have I need to put moisturizer on my face, but I don't wash my face every day. I do not wash my face every day. And but when I do wash it, I use a folic acid wash after I
Mhm.
use a oat honey like balm. So I use oat honey balm, which is very hydrating, and
Mm.
then I go in with a an acid wash, and then I go in with my moisturizer. And that probably happens, like I'll be real with y'all, I'm battling depression, and it happens, like, 2 to 3 times a week.
That sounds good, though, like, I wanna do something like that where there's, like I can use, like, sprays and, like, oils and shit like that to cleanse my face in between, like, actually washing in the shower and stuff like that. Because I
Mhm.
do take a shower, like, every other day type of thing. Because I get sweaty from working out and stuff, and I need to stay clean. Um, but, like, I wanna be able to wash my face on the days when I'm not taking a shower because it's important to keep your face up to date, and so I need some kind of routine. I've seen this thing with the bean essence. Have you seen those with the Korean beauty? For some reason, I respond pretty well to Korean beauty, so I need to look up that bean essence shit.
Mhm.
They're basically like, "It's like natto, but for your face," and I'm like, "That sounds awesome."
Wow.
They're like, "Look, it's sticky." They're like,
I
"Look,
could
it's sticky like the snail mucin." I have some of that snail mucin stuff.
Oh, the snail mucin.
It
Yes.
is great, but, like, literally every time I put it on, I have to tease, like, because it looks like you're putting jizz on your face. It does. I'm
Well, it
sorry.
basically is I mean, you're eating you're getting not eating, but you're putting on your face, like, snail
Junk.
yeah, snails from these snails that are just like eat all day fucking fruit and just fuck each
Excrete.
other and excrete. Like that's what's happening with the snail stuff. And every time I put it on, it's just like but it feels good
It feels
too.
so good, and it
Yeah.
smells nice, which is weird,
Mhm.
but not complaining.
Mhm.
I like that it smells nice. Um, but yeah, I wanna get one of those, like, exfoliating things that gets rid of the extra skin on your face
I do too. I need
too.
something for that. I need something for my nose. But you know what? Ever since I stopped washing my face every day, my skin's cleared up. Like,
Really?
Bertha was like, "What happened? What do you have something on your skin?" I'm like,
Oh,
"No." It's
maybe
like,
you were
"It looks really
overdrying,
clear." I might have
and
been
that's
overdrying or
why.
something. Mhm.
Yeah.
But people still think I'm in my 30s. Like, they think I'm, like,
Yeah,
32
same.
or some shit like that.
Same, but for me, it's because I act like I'm 15, so They're just like, "You can't be that old." I'm like, "Yes, I am. I know I act like a
Mhm,
teenager, but that is okay.
mhm,
That is just who I am
mhm,
as a person. I cackle a lot and tell dirty jokes constantly. I'm sorry."
mhm. I mean, I think it might be my clothing and my hair colors.
Oh, that helps, yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
that definitely helps.
'Cause right now I'm wearing a houndstooth purple Lolita dress, and my hair is, navy blue. Not navy, but kinda
It's a
like
cerulean, okay?
it's a cerulean blue.
I'm I'm very particular about my blues, and that is a cerulean, thank you.
Cerulean blue. But yeah, the internet as we got here, we need skincare routines. The internet has there was a whole thing about people they're trying to privatize sections of the internet. Like, remember
Yeah.
where the net neutrality thing was a big thing? And
Mhm.
they're still trying to fight uh keeping internet accessible for people because that's another thing, that whole power of who controls the internet. And it's like the internet it's not mm, it's not a tangible thing.
It's not, but it's kind of like who controls the roads, because the roads are how you get from one place to another,
Mhm.
and if someone has a monopoly on the roads, they get to decide where you're going, and that is how
Mhm. Or
Google
who can
has
go.
done. Yeah. So Google has basically railroaded the results for certain things so that you're only going to see certain types of results based on what you're looking at. And it and Facebook and all of these other things, they made their algorithm watch what you're doing and predict what you want to do in order to make money. So a lot of the things that you're seeing in terms of advertisements is based on the things that you look at, the things that you like, the things you interact with, which is why people hate liking things and commenting on things they don't like is the stupidest thing they can do
Mhm,
because it's
mhm.
the algorithm's just going to show you more of that content.
Yep.
So like if you hate gay people and you're commenting hate comments on their stuff, it's just going to show you more gay shit. So maybe don't do that, but you're also like, even hate comments are promoting that material. So
Mhm.
then
And giving it a
you're
boost out.
and giving it a boost out. So on the one hand, you are actually helping the creators that you dislike, but on the other hand, you are going to see things that you dislike, which
Mhm.
is probably not what they want, but they don't understand how algorithms work, so they're going to continue doing whatever they want.
Speaking of dislike, someone has found my page for my Palestine posts, like
Mhm.
free Palestine posts, and they were like, I got called I got called an anti-Semite
A word?
word and an anti-Zionist, and I wanted to respond to it, but I'm like, it's tired. They responded under several posts that I made, and
Mhm.
I wanted to respond to it, but I just deleted it because I'm like, I'm tired. But I wanted to say I am most definitely an
I
anti-Zionist.
was like, "They're acting like anti-Zionist is a bad thing?" Like, yeah, it's
I am
whatever.
definitely an anti-Zionist. Like, come on now. Like, that's wild that I wouldn't be.
Like like
Um,
the one thing I definitely know about you is that you're anti-colonialism.
yes.
That's what flavor you are, so why
Yes.
why would that be an insult?
Why? I'd be like, "Thank you, I feel
What?
so seen." Because
Yeah.
I feel so seen. I feel so seen and heard. Thank you.
I
I don't know
appreciate
you,
that.
but you know me. Thank you. Okay. So that's how I felt when I saw that. And then the other part of me was like, I'm like, but I have a Jewish roommate. Then I'm like, oh, this is how some white people feel. And they're like, but I have a black friend.
No, it's not quite the same because using a friend of a different ethnicities who say, negate any hate speech is different than being like, but I really do actually care about these people. I just being against Israel's actions is not the same as being an anti-Semite
I know.
because
I
you're
know. I know. But that's what was brought up after the whole thing with the justice court. Like that's how they're like, okay, Israel, you're doing genocide in Gaza. And they were like their response was you're anti you're an anti-Semite. You're that's who you are.
it's like,
You're
okay,
against
so
Jewish people.
the international court has basically seen that it is genocide. But what I wanna know is what repercussions are coming, because they didn't outline what the
They
actual
didn't say
repercussions
ceasefire.
were.
Yeah, they didn't say any of it. They didn't say any of it.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. Uh, so now that they have this verdict, the governments of our world gets to figure out how to enforce that. But that was just like the first step, and I feel like it's not enough. In the
It's
verdict, they should have called for a ceasefire.
yeah, well,
Um,
from other people's analysis, they said that what they, um, required from Israel is basically a ceasefire, but at the same time, because they didn't use those words, Israel's gonna interpret it however they want to,
mhm.
and they have already increased shit in areas.
Aggression, yeah.
Like, they were like, "Oh, well, if you're gonna call us out on this, we're just gonna go whole hog on it," which is like,
Mhm.
that's why I think it should have been outlined exactly what the repercussions were going to be,
Yeah. Or they know
bec
they have limited amount of time because people will approach repercussions at some point.
yeah.
So they're
So
trying
they're
to get
like,
this done
"Oh,
as fast as
we
possible.
have a month to wipe out the entirety of Palestine, got it," and I feel like that's how they interpreted it, which is not great,
No.
obviously, but I think we need to see other people step up to the plate,
Yeah.
especially fucking
Here.
here,
Here.
especially
And the
here, especially
UK.
Europe, like, too many of the European factions are together on this with the US, and it's
Mhm.
disgusting. So, what
Mhm.
happened with the, taking Biden to court? Um
You know what? I've been looking for information to see what was the ruling on that,
Mhm,
and I have not found any information as of yet. I would have expected it would have come out like right away, but I don't know if that's suppression of the news or whatever, but I haven't been able to look this morning. So after I get off of the podcast recording with you, I'm
mhm,
going to be looking into that.
m'kay.
But I'm just like, yo, this shit happened in Oakland. Like that's where they did it, and that was kind of cool. There was a whole huge rally with thousands of people outside of the place showing their support. And my whole thing, friend, I'm be 100% with you, is like I don't know what's gonna happen when it comes time to vote.
I don't either.
Cause I don't want to have to vote between I can't vote between
Like,
like
I was
fascism and the
literally
genocide. Those are
I
choices.
I was already mad that it was like, "Hey, here's this octogenarian who is not good at things versus an actual Nazi." And now it's gonna be, "Hey, here's this pro-genocide octogenarian who's not good at things versus a Nazi." And it's like, that isn't a choice for us. And, like, we were
No.
talking, to like, I think that there's going to be a very strong third party contender this year because there has to be. And basically the way that it works is if any third party gets up to 5% of the vote, they get federal funding the next year. But like at the same time, I'm like I don't want the Nazi to win, but I absolutely like I feel like I can't vote
Yes.
for genocide, like
Yes.
outright.
Yes.
So we have to have another option because I know they They did a poll or something and said, like, 38% of the US um, was against what's going on in Gaza, but I feel like it's a much higher percentage, it's just most people didn't know the poll existed, and
Yeah, and who are they polling?
who are they polling?
Yes.
And I also think, like
Is it black and brown folks? Is it indigenous folks? Is it disabled folks? Is it queer folks? Is it marginalized folks who are majority? Is the majority represented in these votes, or is it the actual minority, which is says has able-bodied white folk of money
Right.
and privilege and power? Who were they fucking polling? That's why with those polls, I'm like,
Mhm.
unless who's being polled, because they will actively approach people for polls or put polls in places where a certain demographic only looks, where only a certain
Yeah.
demographic looks.
And I think it's something
So
like probably CNN or Reuters or something did it, and you know that they go with, like, New York Times and stuff like that, and
ugh,
we also know that the media in the US is actively gaslighting everyone about the situation
it
so
has to
that
be the media has I have to look this up. I have to find the exact article or where I was looking at it from, but there's something going on with media having to be approved in certain ways,
Mhm.
and unless we're reading from independent um sources, I get a lot of my I'm getting a lot of my news about this situation not from American,
Yeah.
like from across the country and from small reporters and from people who are actually in Gaza.
Yeah.
Um, but it's been wild. Like there's other stuff happening here in the United States, like Abbott in Texas wants to um use the National Guard to stop the feds from cutting the wire razor that's between Texas and Mexico, so that nobody else drowns while trying to cross the water. And he's like, I will use the National Guard against the federal government to stop them from coming in and doing this. And 26 governors of Republican states, of red states, have signed their support of this. Um, and it's like, word, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
This is what's happening like right now. But of course, it can all be like, you know, Biden administration can just say, okay, you want to use the National Guard? Well, they're no longer yours now. We're gonna under like I think it's like Article 10 or some shit like that. Like
Mhm.
they can commandeer the National Guard. But just this dude saying this shit,
Yeah.
like,
Like, that's normal and okay.
yeah, because he was ordered by the Supreme Court to cut the wires. And they're like, "Ooh, immigrants coming in illegally." At first, I have a so problem with illegal immigrants, that whole phrase, and I have problems with illegally entering country. Like I like there's cultural migratory patterns that we have cut people
Mhm.
off from in their own land. Like this, anyway, I could go, I could
Well,
go on
and the other
forever.
thing is we actually have shortages of, produce, and there's lots of produce getting, basically destroyed right now because of the crackdown on immigration, because
Mm-hmm.
basically the 90% of our produce is, like maybe not 90%, like, basically, the way that we get produce in this country is either through prison labor or through immigrant labor. That's just how it functions. Like, that's how we get our fruits and veggies. And by cracking down on the immigrant labor, they have essentially, um, made it impossible to fully harvest anything.
Which has
So
also driven up food costs.
which has driven up food costs, and it's making it so that there is food rotting in the field because they cannot get enough hands, because they can't have migrant workers come in to do what they usually do, because they've
And
cracked down on that.
these farms, these huge farms like this, get kickbacks for their loss.
Mhm.
So it's not like they're losing they're still making money. They're not losing money because of how our government's set up with our food structure, with the producers. So they're not losing any money because they're not getting
But we're
their
losing
stock
food
out. But we're losing food and our food prices are going up.
to the
And what
point that
they need to
it's
do is,
affecting a lot of people.
yeah, yeah. And what we need to do is not just have the migrant workers, a lot of migrant workers to come and do work, but we also need to protect them.
Mhm.
We need to make sure that they're able to afford the food that they are harvesting for us, that they get medical care, that they're not working like 12 to 18 hours. And when we talk about prison labor, we're just straight up talking about slave shit.
Yep. 100%.
We're just straight up talking about slave shit. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
why they're not worried about, what is it? Recidivism, because they want them to come back to jail so that they have their
mhm,
workforce still.
mhm,
That's why our justice system is as fucked as it is because they specifically need the labor to be able to do the actual jobs in the fields,
mhm,
which is so fucked. It is. The way our country works is fucked 8 ways to Tuesday, and, like, that's why it feels so why even voting feels very hollow a lot of the times
yeah,
because it's not actually gonna change anything that we actually care about
mhm,
90% of the time, because most of the people who end up in office, regardless of what they're saying, end up getting bought out by the
mhm,
corporations who run the for-profit prisons, by the
mhm.
corporations who, the
By the
religious
lobbyists,
organizations.
there's
Yeah.
still super PACs and all that shit.
Yep.
Like there was something that I had found earlier in the week that I meant to post, but like, you know how certain super PACs or committees or lobbyists or whatever can donate to campaigns
Mhm.
for president and stuff like that and for all these other things. So I just found out that, let's see, Joe Biden over $4 million from Israel.
That's not surprising.
Hillary Clinton over $2 million. Mitch McConnell almost $2 million. Mark Kirk over $2 million. Joe Lieberman $200. 200 million, not 200 million, but $2 million.
200,000.
dollars. Ted Cruz. No, we're talking about millions of dollars here. Ted Cruz over $1 million. John McCain almost $1,500,000. Like
That's
these.
why they basically own us, because that's why they get so much aid from us, is because they've bought off all the politicians.
Mhm.
And that's just how our government works, is that the politicians can be purchased at a
Yeah.
price. And they're never gonna change that because they wanna make the money. They're never gonna change it.
Mm. And they're keeping us in a place of fear. Like we're so
And
hungry that we're
scarcity.
in, yeah,
They're they're
scarcity.
they're putting us into scarcity. They're specifically keeping the US residents, working paycheck to paycheck, and they're keeping us uneducated so
Oh
that.
yeah. 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 Definitely. My posts about my posts have been doing like okay recently with the whole
Mhm,
thing, except for on Facebook. On Facebook, none of my posts about Palestine, about what's happening in Texas, are getting any tracking at
mhm.
all. And it's like, what is going on? So I'm just gonna do whole posts with my political shit. I figure I got my camera, I got my ring light. I'm gonna sit there naked and talk about politics.
So here's the thing, that's actually gonna work really well. And I figured out
Mm,
so, like, I haven't been posting any of my art this week because of being on strike with everything, right? But I've been doing stories, and, like, 90% of my stories have been Palestine, but, like, I started doing something yesterday which increased my traffic by, like, a hell of a lot. Like, I was getting, like, 87, 90 notifications at once, and it was the like this post and I'll pick out my favorite piece of yours, and, like, I've been engaging with a lot of artists that way, but I've been interspersing Palestine posts in there, and because they're in all of these other posts, they're getting more numbers than what my usual stories do, which has
mhm.
been really interesting to me, but I'm like, as long as the information's getting to them, right?
Yep.
So, that's the main thing is to get the word out. I've been sharing pretty much everything I've seen that you've been posting, but also, Free Palestine 2 or something is another one that I've been like, they do really good recaps,
Mm.
on, like, what's happening day to day, and they even, like, have, like, here's the day number that this is happening on, here's the information of what's coming out for that day. I've been reposting them nearly every day because they have such good information.
Cool. Alright, awesome. I'm gonna look them up too, cause yeah, and then next month I'm gonna be focusing on the Congo, and the month after that, I'm gonna be focusing on the Sudan because I can't do all 3 at once because I will.
Spiral out of control into depression?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll follow you then. So, like, I'll continue reposting everything that you post to my arguably very small audience, but at the same time, it's my small audience and they pay attention. So,
Yeah,
these are
a
a bunch
single
of
drop of rain.
exactly, these are some very conscious kids, and I've seen a lot of people, like, go and follow people and, like, we're talking to each other about it basically by
Mhm.
just reposting and resharing and trying to get our not necessarily overlapped audience to understand that this stuff is important because it's important.
It is. And
And
that's
that's
one
like
thing the internet has done.
yeah, I was gonna say that's like a really good way because like the internet has fostered community in ways that I had not anticipated, and it's also fostered international community in ways
Mhm.
that are actually really good because you're finding people all over the world and you're like, "Hey, we're not that different." You know what I mean? You're still like everybody's human and it's allowing you to see different cultures in ways that when we were younger was it just simply wasn't possible. Like it was more difficult to find international media, but because of the community and everybody's interest in international things, we
Mhm.
have shit like fucking K-dramas on Netflix and
Mhm.
BL on Netflix, which is not something you would have anticipated previously, you know what I mean?
No, I didn't know there was BL on Netflix.
There probably is. I'm making shit
I
up
know
right
there's some
now.
on Viki, but I didn't know there was some on Netflix.
Oh,
There
there's
might be some on
hella on
Netflix, like.
Viki. But that's what I mean, I'm betting there is some on Netflix just
Mhm.
because Netflix has everything now, and if they're like, "If it's popular, we're gonna have some of it." So that's why I'm thinking there probably is some if we look hard enough.
God damn it. China needs to loosen up their buttons because I need them to stop, like, I need the BL
They
that's
they
coming out.
are they are cock blocking us with this live action of Heaven Official's Blessing.
Oh, Eternal Faith. Yes. Yes. I wonder how much stuff they're trying to. Anyway, like, oh God, yes, give it to us. But like things like
Mhm.
LiveJournal was my therapy and kept me alive. Like
Yeah.
it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. The communities that we've been able to find online and not knowing you're alone, and us being able to like spread our own news, and it has, you're right about it, creating community and international community. Like I remember the first time when Trump got elected. I know, was it Trump or was it Bush? I think it was the second time Bush got elected,
Okay.
where there was this whole thing and people were like, "We're so sorry. We know you didn't want this." It was either Trump or Bush. I can't remember who it was. Uh But people from all over the world, all over the internet, were holding signs being like, "We know you tried your best, America. We know you tried your best."
Like, I feel like because of the internet, people are seeing in, like, stark reality how not good the US is. Because I
Yes.
remember, like, in the '90s, the US, like, because we were, like, economically not unstable, and most of the Hollywood and stuff media coming out was, like, really super popular even around the world, there was this impression that the US was, like, super great and everybody wanted to come here. And now people keep saying like, "Oh, yeah, the US is super great and everybody wants to come here." And we're like, "Fucking why? W
Why?
why do you wanna come here?"
Why?
I
How are you
wanna go to
living?
other places
Me
because
too.
other places seem good.
Mhm.
Though I will
I
say I
was
learned something new, like
mm,
last I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but I read there was, another comic that I had called, The Bride is a Boy.
mhm.
And it was a trans story about a trans woman transitioning in Japan and how that worked. And, like, she had outlined, like, all of the rules you have to follow in order to fully transition, and some of the rules are fucked up. Like, 1, you have to get surgery. You have to get surgery to be able to change
Wow.
your marker on your passport. And also, if you are already married and start to transition, if you actively want to have your correct gender listed on any of your documents, they will force you to get divorced because same sex marriage is illegal. So
Ooh.
the option is not be listed as your authentic self or be listed as your authentic self and lose your loved one. Because in a lot of cases, your loved one still wants to be with you. So they make it
You have
impossible.
to get divorced and then adopted.
Yeah, basically. Which is pretty fucked.
That's
And
a
so
lot of paperwork and bureaucracy.
yeah, so basically she was like, "It's really hard, but it's possible, and here's how it's possible." And I really appreciated that she was so educational about it, because just like with the other one where they were talking about the adoption process, it wasn't a you have to do this. It was, here is how you can do this if you're interested. And here's why it was important for me personally. But I know that that's not the case for everyone, and that's okay. And I kind of really love that gentle approach to it, and I also feel like that's just very Japanese of them. Just to be, like,
Mm,
polite about, like, "Here's my story, and here's why it was important to me, and here's all the process that I had to go through, and here's the process that if you wanna do it, you have to go through, and here's explaining why." And, like, she even went through, "Here's assumptions that are being made about me a lot because of things, and
mm.
here's the questions." And here's the answer about why that's incorrect, or here's the actual information. And it was a really good book. I highly recommend it. It's
Wow, thorough.
yeah, it was really thorough. It was really well written. And like what's funny is both that book and the other book that I mentioned like are super cartoony. Like the way that the art is done is like adorable and like very, very on the cartoony side of anime. And so it has all of these, like, really cute vignettes interspersed with some, like, really serious, really important information for people
Mhm.
who are in an arguably marginalized community in Japan. So,
Mm.
it's kind of interesting, and I don't even know how I stumbled upon these books, but, like, I'm really glad that I did because it educated me a lot. And again, though, I think it's in important, again, in this international space of being able to understand how different cultures work around in the same spaces, like in the same struggles. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In the same, like, we're all in this together, essentially. And the
Yeah.
way things work and how you can think about things and how other people have to deal with the same situations within their own culture and within their own legal framework. And
Mhm.
I think it's good to be educated on that so that when you do talk to people, you're not making assumptions that they're in the same situation as you because oftentimes they're not. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah. But yeah, I think the internet has done us a lot of favors, but I think that I feel like, because I was talking to, my massage therapist about this too, because we were talking about Shangri-La Frontier, and I'm like, "I feel like we will never get to the point that we can have a full dive game like this." And why I'm saying that is because even though gaming has increased in technical prowess, it has also degraded in terms of how games are made. Because
Mm,
the gaming industry and the animation industry are on the same shit in terms of
mm, mhm.
everybody's on contracts, like, there's like, they can let, like, really important people go at any time just because they're
Yep.
at will for no reason, and they care more about making money and microtransactions at this point than they do about storytelling and about actually creating a new immersive experience for the audience, which means that there's a lot less creativity, which is why you have 8 billion COD games because
Mhm.
those make money, so that's what they're gonna make is the shit that makes money. So you're gonna have, like, 8 gajillion sequels, and you're not gonna have something, like, new and fresh and different, trying something new, and I feel like even though the technology could be possible with a lot of the stuff that we have going on right now for a full dive game, like, I could see that happening within 10 years just because technology is very fast when it's
Mhm.
actually engendered, but because we're leaning on capitalism so hard,
Mhm.
and because all they care about is making money, creativity is a secondary factor, and, like, we're not seeing as many new or innovative games, and there's, like, idiots like Ubisoft coming out being like, "Get used to not owning games anymore, it's all gonna be subscription-based from now on," and it's like, for fucking real? That it's so disheartening to see everything go in the same way that it has been, because I feel like it's just increasing over the years. Like, they're like, we're trying to squeeze blood from a stone. We wanna get all of the money and make sure that nobody actually has money at the same time. Like, they don't wanna pay their workers, they just wanna get all the money, and that's
Yeah.
not how it works. That's
And I feel like capitalism is a response to the feudal traumatization of European nations. And
mm,
by that, I mean when the settlers and the colonizers came over from European nations to genocide indigenous folk and to build this country off of the backs of indigenous folk and black African kidnapped enslaved peoples, they had their own trauma coming from a place where the poor were kept poor
mhm,
and the rich just stayed rich and the poor had no rights like whatsoever. So when they started coming over here, they brought that trauma with them and they're basically doing the same thing that we're seeing done right now
yeah.
in Gaza. Like so they when they came here, I feel like capitalism is a response to now everybody gets some money, but it's swung so far out that it's returned to what it was before.
We're basically under feudal law, essentially,
Yeah,
because
basically.
of how it's working, and I've seen people say that online before, but everybody gets so up in arms and they're like, "No, we're free, blah, yada." It's like, "Are we though?
We are not free.
Are
We are
we
not free.
though?"
This country is not free. We are
No.
not free. We are most definitely not free. Like and the thing is, we would be closer to being free if we were not so divided. So
Mhm.
there's this guy that I follow, and I can't remember his name, but he's a self-described redneck, and he's always like, rednecks and hood folks need to get together because if we did, they wouldn't be stopping us. Like the rednecks,
Mhm.
we can take two like cylinder blocks and three things of wood, and we will like have something built. You get the hood folk in there to make it happen, and like we would all just take over this country. And the thing about it is, we would if also the same thing for me is like if cishet white women would really join us against the fight in the patriarchy in overwhelming numbers, in
Mhm.
realizing that they had in all of their that they have agency and they have so much power, we could actually overthrow the patriarchy.
Yep.
We could do it.
We could do it. And the thing is,
We could
like,
do it.
again, internet has made it much easier to find your tribe, essentially, and create community, but I don't think we're using it effectively. And I think that certain voices are definitely being oppressed, and because they're being oppressed, it's not as easy to get the word out on what can be. And yeah, you're right, there
I
are
think we're using it as effectively as we can within a system
as
of
we're allowed
oppression.
to, yeah, essentially.
Mhm.
And I think that's why I do cherish the communities that I found so much is because, you know, building community and having, you know, a safe space for your people to interact is so important and so good. And that's why, like, I I'm actually scared about getting a bigger audience because I'm thinking, like, once you get to, like, that 5,000, 10,000, like, where you're at, it's so much harder to, like, curate what your people are interacting with, you know what I mean? Because, like, because you have that many people, if you're getting a lot of interactions, like, if you posted on the regular, if you posted, like 3, 4 times a week type of thing, you're gonna get a lot more interactions because you have a lot of followers, but the algorithm suppresses you if you don't post often. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's very annoying. But, like, if you post a lot, they're gonna see your stuff in their feed, and, like, so, um, once you have a big audience, if you're getting a lot of interactions with people, I feel like it would be very overwhelming if you're posting a lot and you have like 5,000 plus followers and you're getting 300, 500, set thousands of likes and you're getting hundreds or thousands of comments. I got hundreds of comments on one post and I thought I was going to die because it was too much work. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's fucking work. Doing content creation and being a content creator, like, it is work. It takes so much editing to get things done. Like, that's why I haven't used video because I don't feel like sitting there editing fucking video all the time. I'm like,
Mhm.
let me edit these slides, but videos are what's getting watched right now. Um, so I got myself a standing ring light and a whole battery system for it and stuff so I could start doing that.
Mhm.
You know, but it's a job responding to people, liking shit, deleting what
Yeah.
needs to be deleted. Like someone came on my COVID post and was like, masking does nothing.
So they got deleted.
So they got deleted. So they got deleted and they were like, masking does nothing, but I'm happy that you do what you feel you need to do to keep yourself safe. And I was like, bitch, bye. Bitch,
Seriously,
bye-bye.
clean that shit up.
Right? I'm like,
Clean it
delete. I
up.
ain't even gonna argue you. Delete.
Deleted. Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. Not only is it exhausting because you're putting yourself out there, but it's exhausting because once you put yourself out there, you have to not have to, but sometimes it feels like there's a need to self-validate or stand up for or whatever,
Mhm.
which I finally learned not to do because sometimes when people say ill-advised shit on my post, someone else from that have posted are coming up to see it will be like, "No," and they'd fight that fight,
Mhm.
which I greatly appreciate. But yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's a fucking job. It's a
Yeah,
job,
it is a job. And,
and it can be
like,
stressful.
it can. Especially, like I said, if you have a large audience and you're, like, sitting there trying to make sure everybody's, you know, being civil, not being fucking fat phobic and racist in your comments, because they will. Like I
Mhm.
and what's wild to me is how deeply fat phobia is in the system because my friend,
Mhm.
she sent me this picture of her little niece who is a baby, by the way, like an actual like 6-month-old baby. And she's cute chubby little baby cuz she's a baby. And she said that when her sister posted pictures of her niece online, people were like, "Oh, that baby's fat. You need to put that baby on a diet." And it's like, that is a
It's a
baby.
baby.
That babies are supposed to be fat because then they grow. They need the
They're
fuel to
constantly
grow.
growing.
Why would you say that about a baby? And it's because of how deeply ingrained fat phobia is in this in the world. They're like, "Yeah, fuck that fat baby." And it's like, "No, no, it's a baby. It is
Mhm.
it is an infant." Yeah. And so like I was enraged by that
Mhm.
because like who says that about a fucking baby? It, it's a baby. Anyway.
Mhm. I get it.
Yeah, but
And there's a lot of things that's happened with information. The internet has made information so accessible, but at the same time, there used to be a time where someone would say shit and they'd automatically have to stand on business because that shit wouldn't be erased. But
mhm.
now people can't just take shit down. Like earlier in the week, there was this one girl who was up there saying she made a mistake. She said, "Don't compare the genocide of the Holocaust to the genocide that's happening now." And she's Zionist. And people were like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you said you admitted what you were saying was genocide." And that got take I went to the original source and that shit was taken down within like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But people got screenshots. People
Here's
got
the thing,
screenshots of
like,
it.
people remember. People like, nowadays, like, they're gonna get screenshots of your shit immediately. If you are out of pocket, you better stay accountable because that shit will come back to bite you in the face.
And if they put you on Twitter, they will come back with your full last name. Your full last name, where you going to school,
Seriously. Oh
your
my god.
parents, like they will mess. I've had seen posts where people are like, "Yeah, you said this shit. I sent this email to your mama. Your mama know what you're saying right now." Especially with like some of these guys harassing women online
Mhm.
or sending dick pics and stuff like that. Like, I sent that message to your mama. Screenshot it and sent it to her so she can see. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. This is this is great and also scary. Like how you can be identified so quickly. Like give Twitter 12 to 24 hours and they will have a dossier."
That reminds me, so there was there was this story, about, like, literally a group chat, um, standing on business for this girl. So she was like, "Okay, so I broke up with this guy, right?" And all the girls were like, "Okay, okay, what's up?" And she's like, "And he broke into my house and stole my fucking cat." And they were like, "Oh, hell no." And one of them was like, I know your ex. We used to fool around. You want me to go get your cat? You want to go see if he has your cat? Because she like accused him and he was like, I don't have your cat. And so this girl literally messaged the guy, had a hookup, like a one night stand with him, saw the cat, woke up in the middle of the night, snatched the cat, and texted her like, "Girl, I got your cat. How you want to meet up?" And then they're like sending a pic to the group chat of like them with the cat, like, "Hey, I
Nice.
stole this cat back." Like they're like women standing up for women. Awesome. And I'm like, so
Wow, that's
again,
beautiful.
good use of the internet. Use your
Mhm.
community.
Yeah, there's some people who've been trying to be able at the same time in such a powerful way, like people trying to get people out of other countries, like the
Mhm.
queer, the Rainbow Road like situation, the queer
Yeah.
the queer underground railroad, there was also women and femmes and thems who needed abortions and were hooking up with people on the internet to get them to safe states so that they can have the abortion they need.
Mhm.
And so there has been, if the internet ever becomes privatized, we're fucked.
Yeah, because 'cause we're gonna lose a lot of this community, like, if they start trying to charge for social media platforms, um, a lot of
Mhm.
people aren't gonna be able to afford it. And I think they know that, which is why they're not doing it, and they're just keeping with the advertisements. But,
Mhm.
like, the fact that somebody put out saying something like, "If something is free, you are the product,"
Mhm.
and that's basically how Facebook has been operating, because you are the
Mhm.
product, they're using your information, but because they've been cracked down on so much about that, they're basically only allowed to use that information for targeted ads at this point and nothing else,
Mhm.
instead of selling the information regularly like they used to do. I feel like they've
Mhm.
had too many court cases about that, so they're not allowed to do that, but they are a little too spot on about the ads. Like, they don't need to know that much about me is all I'm saying.
No. No.
The amount of very
No.
specific comic ads that I get is egregious.
No. They don't need all that information at all. At all. My thing has been weird because I post so much different shit
Mhm.
and talk about so much different shit that that I get a wild assortment of stuff. But I will say after our episode where I talked about William Defoe's dick,
Yeah,
like I kept getting articles about William Defoe.
that is hilarious.
They're like, "You must like William Defoe," and I'm like, "No, it's just his dick I was talking about." Like, I do think he's a tremendous actor. But it was just so weird because he had never come up in anything before. But then for like a week, my phone was like, William Defoe this, William Defoe that.
Did I tell you Facebook thinks I'm black?
Really?
Yeah, I get all kinds of natural hair and, black skincare and all those kinds of ads all the
That's
time.
because you bought from BL, Black Girl Long Hair.
That's part of it, but I also, like, really like natural hair content. I find it soothing. So I'm like, "Yeah, braid that, that's real nice. Just keep doing that. It's excellent."
Mhm.
So, because I like that much enough of that content, they're like, "Oh, okay, I got your number."
Mhm. Mhm. Facebook doesn't know what I am, but like Netflix thinks I'm Korean, which makes sense to
I
me.
was gonna say that makes sense. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think Netflix thinks I think Netflix thinks I'm a gay man based on which I'm not really mad about either. I'm like, "I have curated my content very specifically, so
Mhm.
this is fine."
Mhm. Oh my gosh. Oh, the internet
Oh, the internet.
and the
But,
world.
like, it also just reminds me of the Wild West back in the day when we were kids. Because I told you about making the I'm in love with an anime character website, right?
No, wait, what?
So, when we watched Fushigi Yugi back in the day, Erica, our friend Shannon, and Danny, and I think our friend Vina, we made this and Melissa, we made a website on GeoCities called I'm in love with an anime character,
GeoCities. Oh my
and
god.
right? And we literally wrote soliloquies to our favorite characters in the show, and I still tease Danny and Erica about it. I'm like, "Well, since I have a Toski tattoo, you guys should get a Chichiri and a Hotohori tattoo because so we can match." And they're like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." Like, "You should. We should match. We should match. It'll be fun. It'll be fun." Meanwhile, I'm getting, like, my whole leg done. I managed to hide Nanami from my parents. My mom didn't say shit while I was home.
You must have been wearing long pants the whole visit.
I was wearing socks. I had on socks all the time, which should have been a flag for them because I never wear socks. But I was
Mhm.
wearing socks the whole time. No one asked a single question. Because my mom would have been like, "Who is that man on your leg?" And she didn't say a thing. It's great.
Oh my god. My mom, when I was younger, and I'm gonna be hearing that thought randomly during the day. Who is that man on your leg? Uh, who's that man on your leg? Um, my mom made me get a straightener, chemical straightener in my hair when I was debuting into society with Delta Sigma Theta sorority. So like I'm a debutante. And she made me get a chemical straightener. And I told her, if you make me get a straightener in my hair for this, I will cut it all off. And she laughed at me like I wouldn't cut all my hair off. So we did the cotillion thing. She got my hair
Mhm.
straightened. She bullied me into getting my hair straightened. I got my hair straightened. We did the cotillion thing, and then we were staying in a hotel overnight. I went upstairs in a hotel,
And cut all
cut
your
my
hair off.
hair, cut all my hair off, put on a wig. Cut all my hair off, put on a wig. And so we're in the elevator. My mom sees me with a wig on, and she's like, and she looks at me. She looks like she's going to say something, and she just shakes her head and decides not to. And I'm like, that's right. I told you I was gonna
Mhm.
cut it all. I told you if you make me straighten my fucking hair, I was gonna cut it all off. I said it. And I did what I said I was gonna do. So yeah. She looked like she wanted to ask questions, but no questions were asked. It was a beautiful moment for me. I'm glad you didn't get caught.
I know. I
Because
know.
if you would have had to start to explain to Nami.
Like, that is an animated man that I am obsessed with. She would have been like, "What? What are you talking about?" And I'd be like, "I said it. That is an animated man I am obsessed with. Please deal with that."
Please
Sit
respect me.
sit with that for a minute and understand that that is who I am as a person. My
Mhm.
my husband has accepted this about me, and it's
Mhm.
okay.
Respect this. Respect it.
I mean, I'm getting spike on the back of my leg, but that is for art's sake. That is
I
not
can't
because
wait
I
to
am in
see
love
that
with him.
one.
I know it's gonna be so fucking pretty. I can't wait to see what she does with the inspiration I sent her too.
Mhm.
Especially after seeing that Toji piece. God damn.
Mhm.
I'm hyped about it. Hyped.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bertha sent me a picture of a Sukuna tattoo and was like, "Is this one of your husbands?"
I like how she's like adapting to just the way that you are. Like, "Oh, is this one of your imaginary boyfriends? Yes, it is. Leave me alone."
Yeah, she used the phrase husbandos. Is this one of your
Excellent.
husbandos?
Excellent.
And I was like, "Yes, yes, yes, it is. One I haven't actually introduced you to, but this is the one who inspires the pray drive, pray kink. This is his name, and this is what he's about. He's a 1,000-year-old sorcerer. Yeah, it was a split between Sukuna and Itadori, and I was like,
Oh,
yeah, the
yeah,
one
yeah.
on the right is this is, and the one on the left is a teenage cinnamon bun that needs to be protected at all costs. So thanks, yeah, I didn't even know you knew these characters. And she's like, I didn't. It just felt like something you would.
I instinctively knew this was for you. And you're like, "Yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
Yeah, that's me. Thank
Thank
you.
you." Oh my god. Whew.
So
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Well, we are approaching 2 hours and 20 minutes of the
Yeah.
pod again because it some days it's just like that.
We
We
had a
like
lot to talk about.
we like talking too much, and that's why we're here doing this podcast, and
Mhm. It's cozy. Come be
well,
cozy with us.
exactly. Why our 3 very avid listeners listen in with us.
Thank you, 3 very avid listeners.
We
I'm so
we
like
love
geeked that
you.
you're we love you. Thank you for like being present with us. Like, I don't know who all the 3 avid listeners are, but like if you ever want to come on the show, just send us an email. What's our fucking email again?
Isn't it like
Which
witchshitpodcast at Gmail?
yeah, something like that. Which shit podcast at Gmail. Um and just like send us a message, and or you can message me at rawiyatariq@gmail.com. Or message me at Mammy is Dead on Instagram. And like and come on the show. Um we would love to talk to you and see.
Yeah, I think of our listeners, the only one who hasn't been on this show is Stephanie.
Stephanie, come on the show.
When this airs, she's gonna be like, "What? What?"
Stephanie, you should come on the show. Come on the show. Come on the
I will check in with her because, um and make sure that she would be comfortable with that. So,
Okay,
we'll see.
that'd be cool.
Maybe. She's the one that has the great family gossip, so I'd love to hear more of that.
Mm. Oh my gosh. That reminds me of when I was meeting Tragic Jesus's mother in person
Oh god.
for was it the first time? I think it wasn't the first time, but it was the first time as Tragic Jesus's partner. And I was freaking out about it and da 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 da. And I'm like, how am I supposed to go in there? Like, I dance burlesque. I'm getting spanked on the weekends by this other guy. Like, da 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 da. You were like, oh, she knows all of that. You were like, I already told her. She knows. You're fine. You're fine. Just go in there and be yourself. Boop.
I do remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
his mom's a piece of work, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, I hope
Well,
she's fine and thriving, however she's doing, but, like, away from me. You know,
I had a dream about her too.
she
She
kept
kept what?
trying to contact me after I left. I was like, "Mm, yeah, you're just gonna try to guilt
Mm-hmm.
me to go back with your son?
Mm-hmm.
No. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a no for me, dog."
It's gonna be a no. It's gonna be a no. Yeah. She tried to contact me a few times after I left her other son.
Yeah, because once again, our exes are related.
Mhm. Oh my god.
We dated brothers.
We
Hurrah.
dated brothers. But I'm glad we're friends. And I'm glad we stay friends. And I'm glad that we are connected and we're doing this.
Yeah,
And
despite my brother trying to break us up constantly. That's why I immediately
mhm,
got back with you because fuck him, but not in a nice way.
no,
Not in the fun way.
not in a fun way. So yeah. Yeah. Good end to that story. I want to see my therapist this Thursday and talk about why I'm dreaming about all my exes and my mother. I don't need that stress.
No, you don't. Like, I feel like our brains react to us stressing out about other things with other things that we're stressed about. 'Cause, like, every time I'm super stressed, my brain just gives me natural disasters and shit in my dreams, and then, like, I wake up having a panic attack because
Mhm.
I literally was in a tornado previously in my dream.
Oh, no, friend.
Yep, that's what
No,
happens.
ooh. Mm-mm.
That's why I can't handle stress dreams, because
Mm-mm.
they yeah, because it's literally terrifying. Because my brain is very good at creating scenarios. Too good at it,
The artist brain.
right?
And you're a dream walker, so
That doesn't
bonus
help
for you.
anything. You're right. That's why I'm like, "I'll come visit you." We'll see if I can
Mhm.
finagle that tonight.
Yes, if you're able to come through, definitely come through. I don't know if I'm gonna realize I'm sleeping or dreaming or not this time because recently I haven't been realizing I'm asleep. Even though in my dream last night, someone came to me and was like, "This is weird because this existed and now it doesn't exist." And I'm like, "Let's keep track of things that used to exist and now don't exist." And so we started keeping track of things and then the list went away. And that's when I should have known I was in a dream. I was but
'Cause the list of things that didn't exist stopped existing. That's
yes.
hilarious.
Yes. I was like, "What?" But I didn't figure out I was in a dream. Sometimes I'm very aware that I'm in a dream, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm in a dream. Let's have fun," you
Right,
know?
right.
And then I'm able to run and fly and do shit. But if I think about it too much that I'm in a dream, then I'll wake up, which I hate.
I'm still so mad about not being able to fly in dreams. And why I say that is because, like, I will be flying in a dream until I realize that I'm flying in a dream, and then I can't fly anymore. And I tried to explain this to somebody else in a way that made sense and wasn't crazy, but it didn't because it is. And it's because I have a mechanism of how I fly in my dreams. I know exactly how to fly. I know there's a thing in my brain that I use to fly in my dreams, and it's a very specific mechanism,
Mhm.
but I can't use it on a human body. So the instant I realize I'm human,
Ah.
it doesn't function no matter what I do. I can't get to flying again fully, and it is
Mm.
so frustrating, and I end up really, really sad every time I have a flying dream. So unlike other people who are like, "Oh, yay, flying dreams is just you're just flying and that's what happens." It's like, no, because I know how to fly and I try to actively fly in my dreams, it has never functioned. Once I realize I'm flying in my dream, I can't fly anymore because once I realize I'm human in my dream, it's like, "Well, this mechanism doesn't work for humans. You're
Mhm.
grounded now." And I'm like, "God damn it." And I try to explain to people in the dream how to fly with this mechanism, and they're like, "That doesn't make any sense. You just
It makes
fly
sense
because 'cause
to
you're
me.
flying." No, I mean the people in my dreams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In order to fly in my dreams, I have to take a run and leap. Most often off of a cliff. So when I dream and then I glide and then I start to fly. But it also means having belief that I'm in a dream,
Mhm.
that if I'm gonna run and jump off of this cliff, that I'm not really running and jumping off of a cliff,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
It does.
It's like you're in a dream, you're not gonna and then I think about that thing in Inception where the woman jumps off the side of the building and it's like, you have to wake up and it's like, was it in Inception or was it in like reality? And I'm like, what if this is reality? Right as I jump over the cliff, I'm always like, what if this is actually reality? And it's like, oh well, you're here now. This is
Well, I
this is
think
where we are.
if you just think logically to yourself that you wouldn't normally be at a cliff, I think you'll be okay.
Cause I wouldn't. Cause
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Like,
Like
how many cliffs do you go to on a daily basis? 0. That's how
0,
many.
absolutely 0. I like keeping my feet on the ground in RL.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I think we're done for today. Do you think we're done for today?
I think we're done for the day, yeah.
What would you like to leave people with this week as they go into the rest of their week?
I want to leave people with gratitude, because be grateful for the communities you're in and for the ability to gain information quickly, because
Mhm.
with how quickly things change, you never know what's going to happen in the future. So it's always
Mm.
good to be aware of and be cognizant and grateful for the time that you're given with the people that you're given with them. And I know
Mm,
that sounds like
mhm.
kind of like old people shit, but come on. It's true. It's
It's
true.
true. It's true.
We got to be
It's
grateful
true.
for each other. So,
Uh,
what about you?
someone told me earlier this week that, oh, they're like, oh, it's so nice you spend time or make time to spend with your friends. And I'm like, because that's really all we got is our connections.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not gonna be here for the longest time. Like, I don't have a whole ass. We're approaching middle age, and I'm immunocompromised and disabled and chronically ill. It's
Mhm.
like I have so much time here, um, on this earth where I get to interact with people that I love. And we're in our prime. Like people are like, "Oh, your prime is in your 20s." I'm like, "No, bitch, our prime is in our 40s. Fuck you." Uh,
We're more aware of ourselves in our 40s, I feel like. But
yeah,
the kids are very aware of themselves now.
they
I
are.
I feel like compared to the kids now, I was just stupid as a teen. Very uninformed.
I felt like I was stifled
Mm-mm.
as a
Yeah.
child. I'm like I could be doing more. I could be knowing more. But you're stifling me, and I do not approve. And I'm gonna
Well, I
read
feel
all
like
these books.
they have more outlets now than we did.
They do.
They have more access to things than we did, which is
Yeah.
both a good thing and a bad thing. So, because that
Hmm.
means other people have more access to them than
To
they did to us
them.
as we were
Hmm.
kids. But I feel like overall, it's been a benefit to a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would leave people with the thought that none of us it's true that none of us are free until all of us are free.
Hmm.
Um, that patterns are patterns because they repeat, and we get to break the world shell without incest.
Without incest. We
If
gotta
you
take
haven't,
so Akio is the patriarchy, and you need to just throw him off a cliff.
throw
But
him
in the
off
in
a
the
fucking
end,
cliff.
he didn't get thrown off a cliff, he just got left. And I think
Yeah,
that is kind of the ultimate message, because if everybody just decides to leave it behind, what do they have to keep on us, you know?
it's like a fucking god. It's like a god. If you no longer worship it or fear it, is it still a god?
Mm, that's a good point.
Hmm. Take its power away. So yeah, look. I guess my whole thing was like, look at the systems of power that you can take the power away. Like, where are you investing? What are your what? How can you work towards liberation in sustainable ways while taking care of yourself?
Mhm.
Like, because it's true that none of us are free until all of us are free. And if you're looking at what's happening in Gaza right now, if you're looking at what's happening in the Sudan or the Congo right now, if you're looking at the situation of Muslims in China, if you're looking at the situation of Muslims even living in places like France and stuff, if you're looking at the situations of Black, Brown, and Indigenous people here in the United States. Like, yeah, you're next.
Mhm.
Like, what's happening over there can easily happen over here. Like, I am terrified, and the one of the ways in which I counter that terror is through self care and through action.
Mm.
So, what actions can you take? Like right now, Bertha's doing a fundraiser with a watermelon dress, a hoodie dress, to raise money for people in Palestine. So every $10 you donate, gets you one entry into this raffle for a custom made watermelon hoodie dress. It's super cute too. I'm going to be posting pictures on my site today about it. But Bertha doesn't have a lot of money to send out to people. Like,
Mhm.
Bertha can't be out here in the streets, but what Bertha can do is sew and make a dress. And we all have something we can do
Yeah.
to
Actually, that
contribute.
reminds me, I wanted to mention something else that Ron told me last night was, there's a campaign to buy SIM cards for people
Oh
currently
yeah, I
on the
saw that.
ground in Gaza,
Hmm.
and I just wanted to point out that that's also happening. So if you are into helping, there's, like, sites that you can go to specifically purchase SIM cards for people in Gaza.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, their liberation is wrapped up in our liberation. And I will say that the Palestinian people were the first people internationally to stand with us for Black Lives Matter. Like they came out in force for us.
Mhm.
So nothing but respect and heartache. But yeah, all of our liberation is connected. All of it's connected. All of it. So that's what I would leave people with this week. In order for that liberation to happen, we have to have hope too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, friends, this has been Witchy Shit and Mongolit. We will catch you next week. Have an awesome time this week. And yeah, that's it. And what's her name again? She come on the show? Stephanie?
Huh?
What was it?
Yeah, I'll talk to Stephanie, see if she wants to come on the show.
Hey, Stephanie. All right, y'all have a good week. Bye.